Okay, well, good evening, folks, and welcome inside the Macon Centreplex as the Macon Mayhem get set to host the Evansville Thunderbolts in their 11th game of the 2019-20 regular season. A different look heading into this contest. Tonight will be the official head coaching debut of previous assistant coach Ryan Michael. He did have the reins a couple of times last night behind the bench. That was only when the head coach was suspended or was out of town. So this will be the first time in which the reins have fully been passed to Ryan Michael, and the 27-year-old will be making really at least what I consider to be his official head coaching debut tonight. So a lot of pressure on him to try to snap this losing skid that has plagued the Mayhem for the last 3 weeks. Currently, they've dropped the last 6 in regulation, a streak that has broken a record, and obviously a record that the Mayhem don't want to continue any further. They have really, I would think, done a great job of at least pressuring their opponents and making it close. And last weekend, really, it just felt like the Mayhem were in an uphill battle against puck luck all throughout the night. There were just so many close calls that did not go their way, and that's not to use an excuse, obviously, but just a very unfortunate situation that the Mayhem found themselves in after last Saturday. It was an emotional defeat. A lot of players on the Mayhem knew full well that a defeat in that game against Birmingham could mean serious repercussions for the team, and as it would stand, that has happened. Leo Thomas is no longer the head coach of the Macon Mayhem. A sad day on Tuesday earlier this week. He was somebody who was an inspiration to many within and without the organization. Leo Thomas has really taught me a lot over the past year plus. He was great to work with, easy to work with. I certainly enjoyed working alongside him. But at the same time, I'm confident he will land on his feet. I wish him the best going forward. And in the meantime, the show must go on. Ryan Michael will have full control over this team tonight, a team that promises to bring a new look. And despite the sad news that plagued the team on Tuesday afternoon, the team really seemed to be in pretty good spirits on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week after the team hopped off the ice. Their spirits were high. They really believe in Ryan Michael, and folks, I got to tell you, when he called for their attention, they stopped what they were doing and they listened. They've got a great deal of respect for this young man, and he's just in a position now where it's all in his control. The ball's in his court, and we'll just have to wait and see what he does with this very talented and veteran roster heading into tonight's game. It will be countered by an Evansville squad that's dropped 3 straight on the road, but last weekend defeated the undefeated Peoria Rivermen, who are finally no longer the last remaining undefeated team in professional hockey in North America. A tip of the cap to the Evansville Thunderbolts. I know there are not too many folks here at the Macon Centreplex who are very fond of Jean-Guy Trudel's squad, certainly in that shootout last Friday night, 1 week ago today, Evansville and Peoria came down to a skills contest, and the Thunderbolts ended up with the victory at Ford Center to the tune of a raucous crowd. Obviously, with the undefeated streak being broken, folks up at Ford Center in southern Indiana were happy to see that. But the Mayhem tonight really have got to get back on track. They've been on a streak that has lasted too long as it is. They want to turn this ship around and start heading in the right direction. And that would really just start to raise the morale around here in Macon. The starting lineups tonight will be read your way shortly, but first we're going to hear from the newly appointed head coach of the Macon Mayhem, Ryan Michael. That's coming your way next on the Mayhem Broadcast Network, folks. Until then, we've got about 10 minutes until puck drop here at the Macon Centreplex. Keep it right here, folks. You listen to Macon Mayhem Hockey on SPHL Live and on YouTube. All right, well, welcome back, everyone. And again, we're so glad to have you with us tonight on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Alex Von Coydle, the voice of your Macon Mayhem. Happy to have you with us on SPHL Live and on YouTube. Joined with the head coach now, the interim head coach of the Macon Mayhem, Ryan Michael. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Alex.
So, Coach, how have the guys' spirits been throughout the week in practice and whatnot?
Obviously it's been kind of a tough week for everybody, and kind of swallowing that pill, and maybe a little bit of guilt for the whole situation. But I think the last few days have been good, trying to keep things simple in practice. I think guys are responding well. So just kind of evaluate how we do this weekend and see where we are.
Yeah, the show must go on, as they say, and definitely a bitter pill to swallow. Leo Thomas, certainly a well-respected and a beloved coach here in this community by players and fans alike. So, tough situation to be in, but at least from what I've seen so far in practices this week, the team's mood has been great, and they seem to have your full support here going forward. So, Ryan, coaching is something that you've obviously been interested in doing for a long time. Really, I would say probably since you, got towards the end of your college playing career, and now that you've been an assistant coach for a couple of years, one in college and then one here, you've gotten to experience what the life of a head coach is like for the past week. What have been some of the biggest adjustments that you've had to make from that perspective?
I think the biggest thing is just it's a different demeanor in the fact that you're no longer making suggestions, you're making decisions, and it's definitely not like college where you recruit players and your roster's set throughout the year. This is a new realm for me in terms of transactions and call-ups and things of that nature. So it's definitely been a steep learning curve this week, and I'm just trying to soak as much as I can in as quick as I can.
Yeah, and Blair Floyd said it during our line change coaches show earlier this week. He said that you've always really had a lot of respect for the chain of command, and that you would, make suggestions before, whereas now you're in a position where you've got to start making decisions. So we're looking forward to what some of those decisions are going forward. Coach, one of the decisions that you didn't have any control over was Zach Urban. He got the call up to the Kalamazoo Wings in the ECHL. It's my understanding he's going to play up there tonight in Cincinnati. How did you, find out about that, and what does his absence mean for the team this weekend?
So I got a few phone calls later last night, and obviously the goal of this level and in this league is development, whether it's staff or player, and giving Urban the opportunity to kind of go to a chance to play and prove himself a bit was something that was important to me, and I know it was important to him. And obviously, given the short notice, it puts us a little bit short on the back end. But the way I look at it is, it just some guys got to do more and eat more minutes, and we're kind of just going with the mentality of next man up here.
Yeah, and with his absence certainly comes opportunity. He's the most tenured defenseman on the Mayhem roster. So, the likes of Jarrett Cupp and Larry Smith, Ryan Devine, guys like that, they're really going to have to step up tonight and show what they can do. All left-handed shooting defensemen, by the way, tonight on the ice for the Mayhem. Coach, I wanted to ask you about another player who's not here at the moment, Jimmy Soper. I know that he went home. There were some family. There was a family situation there. Can you, shed any light on his status, and is everything okay for Jimmy Soper?
I've had conversations with him each of the last 3 days, and I think for him it was just a tough situation at home and something he had to deal with and is still dealing with. I think, according to him, the last few days have been steady improvements. So. Obviously the hope is, we get him back soon, and it's kind of a situation where whenever he's ready and he feels able, then, we're ready to welcome him back.
Definitely. We can't wait to have number 13 back. He's obviously such a big part of this team, this organization, wearing an A on his sweater for the first time in his pro career. Last question I have for you, Coach. This is an Evansville team that's obviously made some improvements. You're definitely an analytical kind of coach. You love to look at the tape and review the film and see what you're up against. What are some of the things you've noticed in terms of some areas that they've built upon from last season, and what kind of game can you expect tonight against the Thunderbolts?
I think he's just improved the roster, pretty steadily across the beginning of the season here. He doesn't stick to the status quo. He's ready to make changes and see how he can shake things up. He coached when I was still playing. I think he was in Fayetteville. And he's always had a well-structured, well-coached team, and obviously they're kind of towards the bottom of the pile with us right now. But I don't, watching them on film, they work hard, and we got to be ready to work for 60 minutes and let our skill maybe piggyback off the work.
Sounds great, Coach. Well, good luck out there, and go get them in your debut tonight.
Thanks, Alex.
That's Ryan Michael, new interim head coach for your Macon Mayhem. This has been your pregame show. We'll be back in just a moment for your starting lineups and more right after this. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that interview with newly appointed interim head coach Ryan Michael. Coach Michael, somebody the team has pledged its full support behind. In practice this week, the team was overwhelmingly in support of this young head coach who is going to, tonight, really all eyes will be on him. That is that is certainly the biggest story heading into tonight's game. A few other sort of side narratives going on, one of which is the return of former Mayhem sniper Derek Sutliff. Now, Sutliff will be wearing the same number that he did when he was in Macon last season. Last year, he scored 21 goals, which was second on the team behind only Jake Trask, so he knew how to put the puck in the net and has continued doing that, except now for the Evansville Thunderbolts. So you're going to hear from Derek Sutliff during the first intermission of tonight's game. It was great seeing him again, and he was always a great interview while he was here. Nothing's changed. Great guy. And tonight, however, it is all business, and the Mayhem will be showing him, along with the rest of his team, no mercy. Sutliff right now tied for the team lead in shots on goal with 27 this season, tied with a defenseman, Braden Helms, number 16 for Evansville. He's actually missed a couple of games, so he loves to shoot the puck. He's also the team leader in penalty minutes with 19 on the campaign thus far. Somebody else to watch on Evansville's squad, Austin Plevy, who's got the team lead in scoring so far, 7 points through 10 games. He netted a pair of goals last weekend against the Peoria Rivermen, tallied an assist as well. He's on a hot streak. Austin Plevy, number 9 in white, somebody the Mayhem will have to watch out for tonight as well. As for who's been hot for Macon, well, there have been a few. Marcus Ortiz, he also notched a pair of goals last weekend, along with an assist. He was our SPHL Warrior Hockey Player of the Week nominee. He and Jarrett Cup had great weekends as well. Cup had the opposite, a goal and 2 assists last weekend against Knoxville and against Birmingham on Friday and Saturday, respectively. Cup has been the Mayhem's top scoring defenseman so far this season. And finally, Stephen Pirog, who is tied for second in the SPHL with 9 assists. He has really just been setting his teammates up left and right. Unfortunately, he's not been able to find the net so far this season, and frustration started to mount on him last weekend against Knoxville and Birmingham. He had so many close calls, just could not get one to go. But still, he has really been assisting his teammates with great consistency. Right now, he's tied with Knoxville's Stefan Bricado for second in the SPHL with 9 assists. That trails only Birmingham's Josh Harris, who's got 11 through 9 games. The 3 keys of tonight's game for the Mayhem are as follows. Number 1, simple plays at the blue line. For those of you who have not heard, there's a recent call-up. Zach Urban, defenseman, has been called up to the Kalamazoo Wings of the ECHL. It's my understanding that he will play tonight for Kalamazoo. So they're in Cincinnati right now, a shorter trip. It ended up working out pretty well for Zach Urban, who left very early this morning. So he is gone. That was the Mayhem's last right-handed shooting defenseman. Not only that, but he was also the team's longest tenured blue liner. So his absence will be sorely missed tonight. The Mayhem, with that being said, have got to keep their plays at the blue line simple, particularly on the right side, as they've got 5 left-handed shooting defensemen that will be dressing tonight for the Mayhem. So over on that right side, those plays just have to come a half second sooner than they have been. And it's difficult when you're on your off point to not get your shots blocked by the shin pad standing right in front of you. So challenge is always getting shots through, getting shots on net, and simply put, just making easy plays at the blue line. That's key number 1. Key number 2, keeping shifts short. The Mayhem shorthanded not only on the blue line, also missing Jimmy Soper. He has gone home for personal reasons. Coach Michael expects him to be back before too long, but of course we wish him the best in what he is dealing with right now back in Waterloo, Ontario. Jimmy Soper, hard-hitting Canadian power forward who brings a lot of energy to the Mayhem, will not be available tonight. So the Mayhem rolling with simply 10 forwards and 5 defensemen. With that being said, the team shorthanded obviously needs to keep shifts short and sweet and not leave anybody on the ice for too long lest they get exhausted. And finally, competing a full 60 minutes. This can be a key to the game each and every night. It's been one of the team's shortcomings. And it's something they'll hope to address this weekend against the Evansville Thunderbolts. Evansville's squad has skated its way out to the visiting bench. Their starting lineup was announced moments ago, but first we're going to hear from Charles Olson, our public address announcer, as to who will be the Mayhem starting lineup coming into this contest. Before that, Mac the mascot skates out wearing the bearing the American flag here on Mossy Oak Camo Weekend. We'd like to, of course, thank Tommy's Bakery and Cafe for sponsoring this night and tomorrow night's game, after which there will be a jersey auction in the Centreplex lobby immediately following tomorrow night's game. Starting for Macon at the blue line, Larry Smith, Niagara University product, who is the face of Mossy Oak Weekend. It's fitting that he will be starting tonight alongside his defensive partner, Ryan Devine, who is sporting the number 25 this evening. He's back to his usual number. He had to wear 4 earlier for a little while, but he's back in 25. And Sean Lynch will be starting on the left wing side. Lynch and Ryan Michael, of course, have a great rapport. They grew up together, playing together. They're cousins and have a great relationship, obviously, off the ice. Marcus Ortiz will be on the right flank, on the same line with Sean Lynch. Marcus Ortiz, the team's leading goal scorer at the moment with 6 goals through 10 games played. And Caleb Cameron, the alternate captain on home ice, will be centering Macon's starting line this evening. In between the pipes, with a .927 save percentage so far this season, good for 5th best in the SPHL, Kevin Etma, an Adrian College graduate who's been a superstar in goal for the Mayhem this season. Great to have the dulcet tones of Charles Olson, whose run for mayoral office here in Macon has allowed him enough time this weekend to go back to to reassume his public address announcing duties. We certainly missed him when he was not around, but in his absence, Dana Barker, of course, did a great job. And last weekend, John Reagan, who's normally the DJ, also filled in quite nicely at that position. As for Evansville, their starting lineup is as follows: Kenton Helgeson, Stanislav Zakov, and Derek Sutliff at forward, Connor Sanvito and Tanner Butler, and Parker Gahagen in goal for Evansville. That wraps up your starting lineups. Referee and the linesman will be announced next, but for now, the singing of our country's national anthem coming up next. Well, tonight on Country Night, an extremely important game for both of these squads. The Mayhem sitting just next to last right now, 9th in the SPHL with a record of 2-6-2, countered by Evansville's 3-6-1, just 1 point ahead of Macon. It's a tenuous advantage that they're currently holding over the Mayhem. The Mayhem in a spot they're not used to being in. Of course, last season they got off to their best start in franchise history, winning 9 of their first 10 games. This season they've won just 2 of their first 10 games, and they're hoping to reverse their misfortunes starting tonight against an Evansville squad in which they were able to sweep on the season series last year, 3-0. The referee for tonight's game is Nolan Bloyer. The linesmen are Corey Fassa and Daniel Fendius. 2/3 of the crew will be with us tomorrow night. Only instead of Corey Fassa tomorrow night, we will have Sean DeLoey as the other linesman. Again, tonight is Country Night. Tomorrow, Mossy Oak Night. The entire theme of the weekend, we're going with Mossy Oak Weekend. The team will be wearing these specialty one-of-a-kind Mossy Oak jerseys, which will be available for auction at a live auction in the Centreplex lobby following tomorrow night's game. Charles Olson, our public address announcer, will be running the auction tomorrow night. For those of you who can't make it out to the game, call our front office tomorrow. We'll be open at noon until game time. Give us a ring, and we'll be sure that you can place your bids via other means. The opening face-off just moments away. Caleb Cameron lining up to take the first draw of this contest. And he will be countered by Evansville's Hayden Holton. Nolan Bloyer will drop the puck at center ice, and this 11th game of the 2019-20 regular season will be underway. Hayden Holton, a rookie out of Carleton University, hasn't missed a game yet this season. He's played in all 10 tilts for Jeff Bess and the Evansville Thunderbolts. This is a much improved team, folks. This is no longer the Evansville Thunderbolts of old that we saw last season. The puck drops. We are underway. Larry Smith receives the DDD pass and chips it up the left wall. Sean Lynch enters the Evansville zone, loses a handle on it. Kenton Helgeson's got it behind his own net, slips one through the slot, held alive at the blue line just barely. Point-blank chance. They score! Sean Lynch, first of the year. 16 seconds in, the Mayhem have a 1-0 lead. Give Larry Smith an assist as well. Great keep at the blue line. Caleb Cameron, I believe, will get the secondary. Larry Smith, the primary. Sean Lynch with the goal. That did not take long at all. 16 seconds in, and Sean Lynch has scored Macon's first goal of the night. Redirected into Macon territory by Austin Plevy in the neutral zone and played by Ryan Devine in behind his own net. Danny Caesar scoops it up. He works it out in front of his own net. One hands the puck out to center ice where it's been blasted back in. And behind the net, it rolls to the corner of Larry Smith, who will just wedge one out past the blue line. We get a whistle and a stoppage of play. The linesman signifying an offside call. 19-19 to go here in period one. The Mayhem with an early 1-0 lead, and as luck would have it, the cousin of the new interim head coach, Ryan Michael, Sean Lynch, scores the first goal under Ryan Michael's tenure. So congratulations to the both of them. Stathis has flung a puck in from center ice, and Cronwall has just worked it off the half boards back towards the Macon blue line, angled off the neutral zone boards and out to Sumalitas, who will chisel it further into Evansville territory. Felix Cronwall sustains a check, works it up the half wall on the near side. It's recovered by Caesar, who will backhand it in across the blue line with help from Oleg Kalaman, who accelerated it further. Stephen Pirog to the bench, and the Mayhem change personnel. Stathis will follow suit as Josh Kuzno assumes the F1 position as the utmost forechecker in the Evansville zone. The puck's been flung out to the neutral zone. Quick 2-on-1 develops. Smith gives it over. Broken up by Jarrett Cupp, who scurried back on the back check to nullify the opportunity. But the Mayhem not out of the woods yet, to so to speak. Backhand shot steered aside by Entma with the stick. And it's held alive at the right point and turned over ultimately in the right circle to Jarrett Cupp, who has just cleared it down the length into Evansville territory. Puck's just been redirected to the Macon blue line. Cupp skitters over, and Larry Smith receives the pass from him. Danny Perez redirects it into the Evansville zone. It's given quickly from Kyle Thacker up to Braden Helms, who will advance the puck further and across the Macon blue line. Turned over, quick 2-on-1 develops. Stepan Timofeyev right side. Now it's a 3-on-1. Cameron with a toe drag loses the puck, and Evansville reinforcements arrive on the back check, and Caleb Cameron's going to be kicking himself after that. Here's Timofeyev sliding a centering pass that goes all the way through, back up the slot. Larry Smith in the neutral zone. Head fake by Sean Lynch. He will just flutter the puck into the right corner where it's scooped up by Marcus Ortiz, and he will take a check along the end wall. And it's worked back up to the right point now. Campbell's shot doesn't get through. It gets blocked and ricochets off the backboard's glass. Now it's Ortiz dropping it. Cameron pumps it into the corner. Sean Lynch scrapping away, battling against Braden Helms, who leads Evansville in shots on goal with 27 this season. Larry Smith scooting down the left half wall, puts it off the stick of Lynch and wide of the goal. The Bolts have cleared it out into Macon territory, sliding wide of Entma's net. Both teams change on the fly. In the meantime, Smith flings a pass out to Sumalitas and across the Evansville blue line. His shot is handled by Parker Gahagan. He will take a whistle and a stoppage in play, and some antics transpire shortly after the fact. We're 3 minutes into this contest. Sean Lynch opening the scoring for the Macon Mayhem. 16 seconds in. That is Sean Lynch's first goal with the Macon Mayhem. Could not recall if he had scored one last year. He had not, in fact. Special moment for him. That's a goal he'll remember forever. He's going to hang on to that puck, no doubt. Felix Cronwall flings a pass out into the neutral zone. It's played by Seth Swenson, who enters the zone onside, centers it, redirected off the stick of Kevin Entma, who makes the butterfly save. And now it's given out to Cronwall, turns it over. The Mayhem on an offside as Danny Caesar was late entering the zone. Caleb Cameron was out too far in front of him, and we get a whistle stopping play. Beg your pardon, that was Stathis Sumalitas who was caught on the offside. Sumalitas, a native of the Czech Republic. Of games under his belt here in Macon. Last season played 17 in the ECHL between the Florida Everblades and the Norfolk Admirals. Second straight season in Macon as an alternate captain. Last year shared those honors with Jake Trask and John Seamer. Brandon Lubin, the alternate captain of Evansville, has just iced the puck as he lofted one into the opposite corner near the Walker Dental Group dasher board. 16:29 yet to be played in the first period. The Mayhem with an early 1-0 advantage. Sean Lynch, his first goal with the Mayhem, coming just 16 seconds into the contest. And now Josh Kuzno will take an offensive zone face-off in the right circle on the far side. He wins the draw back to the line. Ryan Devine from the outer hash marks will rattle it back to the point for a drive by Timofeyev. That's handled by Parker Gahagan, which is a difficult name to pronounce, but Gahagan's been pretty stout so far in goal for Jeff Bess and the Evansville Thunderbolts. Coming into this game, Gahagan sporting a .907 save percentage. He did not play last season, spent the previous year in AAA and AA Pro. Played 5 games for the San Jose Sharks top farm team, the Barracuda, in the 2017-18 campaign. The Evansville Thunderbolts have again iced the puck, but it's being waved off, so Cup will have to make a play. He sends it off the near sideboards, bounces up in the air, whacked down by Timofeyev, but recovered by Evansville. It's been dumped into the zone by Braden Helms and played by Cup, who spins it to the far side. Devine will accelerate it up to Stepan Timofeyev, whose pass is intercepted. The Bolts reorganize. Braden Helms, outlet pass, nearly picked off by Cameron, bounced off his stick. Here's a wrist shot, swallowed up by Entma on the bid coming from Connor Sanvito from the left circle. Sanvito 6 points through 10 games. He's played in all 10 tilts for Jeff Bess and company. Longtime Seattle Thunderbird in the WHL. Played his college hockey at St. Thomas University and the University of Lethbridge in Canada. You'll find on this Jeff Bess-led squad lots of players who were recruited from Canadian college hockey programs. The ensuing draw will take place in the far circle. Quick one-timer right off the face-off, squirts off the equipment of Entma. Unfortunately for the Mayhem, no harm was done as Ortiz gloves down the puck in the neutral zone, enters awkwardly on his off wing. He's shoved into the corner glass by Braden Helms, and the loose puck is somewhere down in between all those skates. Josh Keplinger vying for possession, but the whistle blows. I believe referee Nolan Bloyer is signifying for the puck freezing, so we're going to get a stoppage. Perhaps the board came out. One of those stanchions is loose, or that is the door that leads to the visiting tunnel, so perhaps the door came loose momentarily, but we're back underway. Offensive zone face-off for the Mayhem. Keplinger couldn't settle it, and the Thunderbolts are out to center. It's been dumped in by Seth Swenson. Wrapped around the boards by Entma. Backhanded further by Cameron. Here comes Ortiz. He's got Keplinger on his left, crashing the net. The shot from Ortiz is gloved by Gahagan, and no further play. As we were saying about Gahagan, he played for the San Jose Sharks top farm team in the 2017-18 season. 5 games for the San Jose Barracuda. Good buddy of mine, Nick Nolenberger, the director of broadcasting up there, and former Mayhem equipment manager who went by the nickname of Murph is up there as well. He's now the head equipment manager after spending just 1 year there, got the promotion from assistant to head. Neutral zone breakout for the Thunderbolts. It's delivered to the left side, and a sharp angle bid is fought off by Entma, and it floats out of play. That was Kenton Helgeson taking the shot. We have just passed the 5-minute mark in this first period. The Mayhem with an early 1-0 advantage. Sean Lynch striking just 16 seconds into the game. Hagen, the Evansville goaltender tonight, also played a full 4 seasons at Army West Point, NCAA Division I college hockey, graduated from the United States Military Academy back in 2017. Another program known for its development of goaltenders. When I was in the North American Hockey League, a goaltender for the Wichita Falls Wildcats, Jared Dempsey, made his Division I commitment there. 14:57 to go here in the first period. 1-0 to score in favor of Macon. There will be a face-off in the Mayhem zone in the far circle to the right of Kevin Entma, his blocker side. Seth Swenson to take the draw against Stephen Pirog. Both parties jumping the gun a bit, so they're going to redo this one. Pirog gets the job done this time, but it's scooped up by Barnaby on the far half wall. Matthew Barnaby sends it back to the point. Long shot is off target coming from Kenton Helgeson. It's been cleared out. It pops its way down the left boards, and Helgeson is able to win the foot race back for possession. The ex-Vancouver Giants captain, or rather Calgary Hitmen, one-timer by Sumalitis from the slot is denied by Parker Gahagen. Nice drive by Sumalitis from the high slot. He was trying to snipe the near corner, the lower corner of the net, and Gahagen made a nice left pad save. Helgeson, alternate captain for the Evansville Thunderbolts, was drafted by the Anaheim Ducks back in 2012. He was their 7th-round pick. Offensive zone face-off win by Josh Kuzno. It's spun by Perez down in below the goal line. Kuzno's got it. He's pinned to the wall by Hayden Holton. And Perez jars it free. He centers it. The one-timer is off target from there. The mid-slot shot coming off the stick of Stepan Timofeyev. Works its way back out to the Macon blue line. Timofeyev in his own zone with it on his stick. Dekes around one. Floats a pass up in the direction of Perez, who overskates it. He'll just reorganize now as he drops it back to Jarrett Cupp in his own end. Cupp works his way out to the Macon logo at center ice and will rattle it clockwise around the end wall. It's halted by Parker Gahagen. Rimmed back around to the near side, and it's played by Evansville's Connor Sanvito. He will take it out to the red line. He's pickpocketed, but the puck's been recovered by Brandon Lubin. Alternate captain for the Thunderbolts. Slides it to his right, and here's Braden Helms. He will squeeze by Jarrett Cupp, carry the puck in behind the net. He's eventually finished off, but the puck bounced right into the blue paint. Entma sprawls out for it, and some miscommunication there with his defenseman, but no harm was done. Looks like the Mayhem ought to be able to clear this one. They cannot. It's held in by Austin Plevy, who fires. Stick save by Entma, and the puck flies out of play. And that's a situation that's not going to sit well with Mayhem interim head coach Ryan Michael. That's a puck that should have been out. The Mayhem had the numbers along the near side boards and the near half wall, rather. They had possession as well. So a little bit lackadaisical clearing the puck, and now they've got to take a defensive zone face-off. It'll take place to the right of Kevin Entma. Entma coming into this game 5th best in the SPHL in both goals against average and save percentage. 2.43 and 9.27 respectively. Stathis Sumalitis scoops up the puck. He's onside, left circle with a shot. Stick save by Gahagen. He tried to go 5-hole. And the puck finds its way onto the tape of Stanislav Zykov, who spins, slides it over. Left circle wrist shot, stopped by Kevin Entma. Kyle Thacker, the defenseman, jumping up on the rush to take a wrist shot. That was denied by Entma. Evansville going to an offensive zone draw to Entma's right. Pirog against Swenson in the circle. Beg your pardon, that's Matthew Barnaby. Barnaby jumped the gun. He's been kicked, so in his stead will be Taylor Macon taking the draw. Pirog beats the typical winger in Taylor Macon on the face-off. Macon's got it now at center ice. Pirog recovers it, dumps it back to Oleg Kalaman. He's pickpocketed. Turnaround shot from the corner is denied by Entma. The rebound bounced in behind the net. Jacob Smith wheels to the outside with it. Smith sends it to the right point. Butler's drive is blocked. The puck ricochets back out into Evansville territory. Butler's got to go back and get it as he's pursued by Daniel Perez. Butler just drops it below his own goal line. There to play it, Kenton Helgeson. It's just been redirected past Timofeyev out to the Macon blue line. Larry Smith twists it out to Timofeyev. He springs one along for Kuzno, who's closed off. Perez, far corner. He spins with it, delivers it to Timofeyev, bounces up into the slot. Turnaround shot, Kuzno missed the right post. And now it's over on the far side. Brandon Lubin is able to clear. Bounces near the red line. It's settled and given back to Larry Smith in his own zone. 12 minutes to go here in period one. The Mayhem have a 1-0 advantage, courtesy of a goal scored by Sean Lynch just 16 seconds in, his first with the Mayhem. Kuzno steals the puck at center, sets up Keplinger in across the line, takes it wide down his off wing, drives and centers it, and it's sticked aside. Off the far half wall it bounces, and it ricochets back out into neutral territory. Caleb Cameron slides it over to Larry Smith on his left. Keplinger redirects it into the Evansville zone. Felix Cronwall's got it. He will rim it back in the direction from which he got it. And now it's played by Hayden Holton, who cleared it out to the red line. Cronwall dumps it in. Nephew of NHL legend, Detroit Red Wings great Nicholas Cronwall, who just retired last season, wears the number 55 in honor of his uncle. Marcus Ortiz from the right wing side misfired on his wrist shot, and the Evansville Thunderbolts are back out to center. Their pass is picked off by Sumalidas. He starts the transition right side. Pirog missed the net as it bounces towards the left point and eludes the stick of Oleg Kalaman, who's going to have to skate back and play it in his own zone. Kalaman gives it over to Ben Campbell, who's under duress. He will just jar it up the half wall on the far side. Several players swiping at it. It's again put in behind the goal line. Kalaman delivers a big hit into the end wall against Matthew Barnaby. Angled off the half wall on the near side, bounces all the way down the ice. This will just barely go far enough for an icing call against Macon. We're very close to the halfway point of the first period. 1-0 the score in favor of Macon. Sean Lynch with his first goal with the organization, coming just 16 seconds into the game. A huge one for him and for this team, who really needed a feel-good goal like that to get this game started. Sumalidas, the veteran, taking his time getting off the ice, giving his team a chance for a breather after having just iced the puck. But the Mayhem are quickly out of their zone. It's been sent into an area now occupied by Danny Perez, who won the foot race to the puck, but he's outnumbered in the far corner. Gets back on it, works it up the wall, not quickly enough. A penalty is going to be called. For the first time tonight, there will be a power play, and it will belong to the Mayhem. It's going to be tripping called against Evansville. And Jacob Smith, who's played in all 10 games so far this season for Jeff Best, is going to have a seat. The Mayhem power play will go to work for the first time under Ryan Michael. Blair Floyd assured us at line change last week, or this week on Tuesday, that this man advantage will have a different look. Let's see what happens here. Josh Keplinger out there manning the left point at the moment. Well, in the deep slot rather, but on the left side would be in the left point. Marcus Ortiz wins the battle in behind the Evansville net, loses his stick, wipes out, and the Mayhem are able to keep the puck alive at the blue line. Oleg Kalaman distributes it to his left. Keplinger left circle with a shot, blocked, rattles back to Kalaman, deep slot, slides it over. It's Danny Caesar. Kalaman again, Keplinger, left circle. Kalaman unloads the one-timer. It's blocked. Puck fails to clear. Kalaman keeps it in the zone and rattles it into the left corner of the ice. And two players go battling for it, and Kuzno unable to pry it free from Kenton Helgeson, and the Bolts have cleared it down. Keplinger on it. This Mayhem power play is brought to you by Wild Wings Cafe. 9:25 to go in the first period, 1:15 to go on the man advantage. Keplinger works it out to the red line. It is stymied by Seth Swenson. The puck slides its way back to Oleg Kalaman, who will float a saucer pass onto his left. Sumalidas has it. Puts it into the middle of the ice. Danny Perez steps in across the blue line, but loses the puck. The Mayhem are now good to go. They enter the zone onside. Sumalitas left circle with a shot. Gloved by Parker Gahagen. We get a whistle stopping play. And are going to head to our our second media timeout of period one. We're going to take a brief pause here on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Folks, thanks so much for joining us. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast tonight on SPHL Live and on YouTube. We'll be back in just a moment. Keep it right here.
Trying to plan out a night of fun for an upcoming birthday? Why not spend it right here with the Mayhem? The Tommy's Bakery and Cafe Birthday Suite is available right here at the Macon Centreplex for all home games during the 2019-20 season. The birthday suite comes chock full of benefits, including 12 tickets, a private suite area with a great view of the ice, donuts from Tommy's Bakery, a visit from Mac the Mascot, and a special present for the birthday child. All of this for just $250, with additional tickets available for $12 each. Visit MaconMayhem.com or call our office for more information.
Mayhem would like to remind you folks tuned in out there that tomorrow is the second game of this two-game home series against the Evansville Thunderbolts. Next week, the Mayhem turn their attention to the Pensacola Ice Flyers. They will travel out to Pensacola on Thanksgiving Eve. The power play continues. An offensive zone faceoff is won by Macon as Caleb Cameron settles the puck at the outer hash marks of the left circle. Timofeyev left point, that's Perez who fires, blocked by the stick of Kyle Thacker and out of play. Kyle Thacker started the season in Peoria but was brought to Evansville in a trade. He played 55 games for the Fayetteville Marksmen last season. A team that's gotten off to a red-hot start. Right now they're 8-0-1, 17 points, tied with Peoria in both points and goal differential. Defensive zone face-off win and a critical one by Hayden Holton. As a result, the Bolts are able to get it out, and that puck ended up nearly bouncing into the All-State Bonding penalty box. It fell just short of it. Flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. Another offensive zone face-off for Macon with 37 seconds remaining on their power play. Clean win on the draw by Pirog. From the blue line, it's Jarrett Cup. Timofeyev, left half wall. Switches with Perez. Timofeyev surveys his options. Bottom of the left circle. Gives it up to Perez at the point. He gives it over. Jarrett Cup settles it down. Pirog surveys. Back to Cup, who bobbles it at the blue line and recovers in the neutral zone. Cup gives it up to Pirog on the right side. He stops, flings it over. Horizontal pass to Perez above the left circle. Give it to the adjacent corner. Timofeyev's got it now. Stepan Timofeyev holds on to it. Above the left circle, doing some shoulder shimmying. Sending it back to the line. Jarrett Cup gives it off. Snapshot by Pirog. He scores! Just as the penalty was expiring to Jacob Smith. He had just gotten back onto the ice. I don't believe this will count as a power play goal, but regardless, the more important fact of the matter is that Steven Pirog has just scored his first goal of the season. Long overdue for the captain, and the Mayhem have a 2-0 lead. So a lot more shooting on that power play, folks. We'll wait to hear the official word as to whether that's a power play goal. I don't believe it is, and it's so unfortunate. That will count as a failed power play because it should not have been. Zone entry again, this time by Ortiz, right side. He will carry it into the right corner, and we'll send it around the boards, back towards the near point. Larry Smith couldn't keep it in the zone. Here comes Evansville on a breakaway. Down the slot, Zhykov shoots. Sprawling save by Entma, who kicked out the right pad and made the stop. Left point shot flutters wide of the goal. In behind the net now, it's Austin Plevy. Watched every step of the way by Larry Smith. Delayed penalty upcoming against Macon. There's a player down for Evansville at the bottom of the far circle, and this does not look good, folks. There's some pushing and shoving going on after the fact. I've not seen the jersey number, so I'm not sure who that is that's down for the Evansville Thunderbolts. It might be Zhykov. Stanislav Zhykov, slow to get up. He was the one who just got a breakaway, a very dangerous player. Zhykov, pair of goals on the season, 3 points. Was a part of the Knoxville Ice Bears squad last season that eliminated the Mayhem in the playoffs. Ryan Devine is the guilty party. Roughing the call against Ryan Devine. So the Mayhem for the first time tonight will go to the PK. This Mayhem penalty kill will be brought to you by J&J's Heating and Air Conditioning. The Evansville power play coming onto the ice, clicking at just 8.1%, but good enough for 7th in the SPHL this season. We've seen a significant dip in the power play percentages this year across the board. Stephen Pirog forcing the issue in below the goal line, pries the puck free, wins back possession, and sends it back into the neutral zone. Excellent play by Stephen Pirog. That's the 200-foot player that Leo Thomas brought back to Macon this season. After having just scored his first goal of the campaign, now will head to the Macon bench. In the meantime, Evansville sets up. Backhand shot from the far circle is stopped by Kevin Etma. That was a strange-looking play, folks. That was essentially a backhand one-timer taken by Taylor Macon from the far circle. Kevin Etma was able to make the stop. He's been razor sharp so far in the early going. Saw Connor Sanvito skate back down to the Evansville tunnel, followed closely by the Thunderbolts trainer, so we hope everything is okay with him. And the Thunderbolts still have 88 seconds remaining on their man advantage, their first of the game. 7 minutes to play. The Mayhem have a 2-0 advantage. This tilt. Goals from Sean Lynch and Stephen Pirog. Lynch is first with the Mayhem. Pirog's first of the season. Scrappy draw, far circle. Quick wrist shot from the bottom of the left circle by Zhaikov is denied. A loose puck skitters its way behind the net. Austin Plevy's centering pass was hacked wide of the goal and ultimately scooped up far corner by Oleg Kalaman, who can't clear it. But he gets some help, and Jarrett Cup will just skate it out into the neutral zone. He's got Josh Kuzno helping him, who orders Cup to just dump it in below the goal line, and that's exactly what he has done. A veteran play by a veteran player. Josh Kuzno in his 6th SPHL season knew the team was out of gas. 50 seconds remain on this Evansville power play. Behind his own net now is Brandon Lubin. He'll begin the breakout for the Thunderbolts. He will skate it out into the neutral zone himself and deliver it to his left. Derek Sutliff flying down the wing. He drives, dispossessed of it. The puck's whacked back up towards the far point, and it could not be held in the zone by Lubin, who will reorganize at center. Here's Jacob Smith to his left for Sutliff and across the blue line. He returns it for Smith. Smith's centering pass goes all the way to the back, held at the line by Kenton Helgeson. One-time blast from above the right circle, gets blocked, and bounces into the right corner. It's Matthew Barnaby sliding it back. Helgeson's drive redirected off of an Evansville stick wide of the net. Close call for the Thunderbolts. The Mayhem have weathered the storm for the time being as Ryan Devine's been let out of the box, serving that 2-minute minor for roughing. The Mayhem returning to full strength. Both teams 1 for 1 on the PK tonight. And here's a wrist shot by Barnaby that gets blocked by the stick of Ben Campbell and out of play. I'm going to double check on point streaks, folks, but I'm fairly certain that Macon's goal was scored immediately after Jacob Smith was let out of the penalty box, which means that it will be an even strength goal. The good news about that is that everybody who was on the ice for Macon when the goal was scored will get a plus. The bad news is that the power play percentage will not get the help that it needs. Far circle face-off for Josh Kuzno, wins the draw cleanly, gets it back and sends it outside of the reach of Stepan Timofeyev. Kuzno scurries over to play the puck ahead. Timofeyev will just accelerate it into Evansville territory. Back to get it, Jacob Smith for the Thunderbolts. I beg your pardon, that's Braden Helms, and it's been worked up the far half wall, and the door has come loose, this time on the other side, the far corner, where the tunnel leads back to the Mayhem dressing room. Looks like we're going to head to our third and final media timeout of period 1. Keep it right here, folks. 2-0 Mayhem through the first 15 minutes of play. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
Good news, Mayhem fans. The group outing package you know and love is back for the 2019-20 season. If you bring a group of 10 or more people, you receive discounted tickets at $13 a piece, reserved seating, free hats, t-shirts, or pucks for each member of your group, and an experience upgrade of your choosing. Set upgrades include the High Five Tunnel, bench buddies, a picture on the ice after the game, and much more. Just be sure to call our office at 478-803-1592 in advance, and we'll get you all squared away. Looking to raise some money for a cause and have a blast while doing it? The Mayhem would be happy to help you out through our fundraiser program, available for all home games throughout the season. You buy tickets from us for $10 each, you sell them for $15, and you keep the remaining $5 per ticket sold for whichever cause your heart desires. If you were to sell 50 tickets, for example, you would collect $250 for your fundraiser. Call our office at 478-803-1592 for more information.
So we're back at it here at the Macon Centreplex. The Mayhem, with the final 5 minutes winding down in the first period, have an early 2-0 advantage over the Evansville Thunderbolts. They've only managed to do that one other time this season, accumulate a 2-0 lead, and it came in the home opener against Fayetteville as a tough angle shot is denied by Entma from the far side. The puck skitters its way back up the half wall, far point, and now it's bounced back out into neutral territory, and Braden Helms will have to commence the rush back into the Macon zone. Helms taking it all the way below the goal line, trying to generate some offense for Jeff Bess and company. Cup had it jeered off his stick. Far corner, it's Austin Plevy. Leaves it back to the top of the left circle, and the wrist shot gets blocked. Caroms its way to the near side. Sutliff put it back in behind the net, and it's scooped up by the Mayhem and worked up the half wall, turned over right in front, and it's Jacob Smith leaving it. Sutliff's shot swallowed up by Kevin Entma, his former teammate. I spoke with Derek Sutliff about some of the challenges in facing his old team tonight. You'll hear the full interview, so I'm not going to spoil it too much during the first intermission, of course, which will be coming your way in the next 4 minutes of game time. But one thing he told me was the amount of experience on this Mayhem team. Lots of games, lots of professional games played on the Mayhem side of the ice. The home side, certainly with the edge and the experience factor coming into this tilt, as Sean Lynch gloves it down and whacks it into the near corner of the Evansville zone. Caleb Cameron couldn't quite hold it, and Ryan Devine do a little spinorama in the neutral zone, gets some separation and dumps it in. Lots of oohs and ahs from the crowd as goaltender Parker Gahagen sends it around the near side. Held at the line by Cameron, who flutters it back into the near corner. Behind the net, it's Felix Cronwall, who will advance it the other direction. Derek Sutliff under pressure, and prying at it, Ryan Devine. Eventually the puck squeaks its way past the blue line and back into the Macon zone. It's collected by Larry Smith. Avid outdoorsman. He did not get to wear the camo jerseys last season, which was a heartbreaker for him as he was injured. Not only that, but his folks were in all the way from Buffalo, New York to watch him play. So it's a great opportunity for him to be able to wear these jerseys this weekend. Puck's been worked back to the blue line. Long slap shot blocked. Second chance. Zhykov missed the net. It's loose on the doorstep, and Entma covers it up. Kevin Entma has been playing out of his mind for the first 17 minutes or so of play, and he has kept the Thunderbolts at bay time and time again. This is a 2-0 Macon lead, folks, but it easily could be a tie game. Ryan Devine, it appears, will be going right back to the Macon penalty box, the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box. He's already been there once. Will this be a Thunderbolts power play is the question. We've not seen anybody from the visiting squad sent to the All-State bonding penalty box, so back-to-back roughing calls made against Ryan Devine. You don't see that very often, folks. Right back to the PK we go. The Mayhem 1 for 1 thus far. By the way, I was able to confirm the goal the Mayhem scored earlier from Stephen Pirog was, in fact, an even-strength goal. So unfortunate for the Mayhem that they could not use that to advance their power play percentage. But the good news, everybody on the ice for Macon will get a plus. But now they've got to go to work on the PK. Long slap shot is off the mark from the blue line, coming from Brandon Lubin. Delivered back in behind the net. Zhykov will spin it back off the half wall far side. It's collected by Seth Swenson, left circle, who will snap a shot off. Entma the save. Down in the butterfly, makes the stop with his glove. Seth Swenson, one of the many players on this Evansville squad to come through the Canadian college hockey route. Jeff Bess, known for his recruiting abilities, really took a liking to the University of Guelph product. Guelph, the hometown of Stephen Pirog, the Mayhem captain. Defensive zone face-off win for Macon. The Thunderbolts hold the line, right point into Lubin. Brandon Lubin sends it through all the way to the goal line on the right side of the ice. Zhaikov will work it back up into the corner for Austin Plevy. Plevy from the right circle. Tries to send one from one circle to the other, but it was intercepted and cleared all the way down by Stathis Soumalides. The Czech power forward directing traffic for a moment, but decided to skate to the bench and be replaced by his fellow veteran, Josh Cousineau. Now it's worked up to Connor Sanvito, who exited the game earlier. Good to see him back, but he sustained a big body check. In the meantime, Cousineau, outnumbered and shorthanded, will just get rid of the puck in below the goal line. Derek Sutliff, the ex-Mayhem Snipers, got it behind his own net. $1:50 to go in the first period. A minute remains on this J&J's Heating and Air Conditioning penalty kill as it's brought forth by Braden Helms with speed. He backhands it into the right corner. Helms takes a check by the other 16, Ben Campbell. Beg your pardon, folks. I'm battling through a cold myself, so struggles on players and broadcasters alike here this evening. The Mayhem have just cleared it all the way down in below the Evansville cage, and from inside of the trapezoid, Parker Gahagen delivered it off. Here come the Bolton across the Macon blue line. They're caught on an offside. The linesman blowing the whistle. Big hit delivered immediately after the whistle was blown, but there's not enough of a grace period to warrant any sort of a frustration really from either side. 1:17 to go in the first period. 2-0 Mayhem is your score. Sean Lynch scoring first, just 16 seconds into the game, and then Stephen Pirog lighting the lamp for the first time this season. Long anticipated goal from the captain coming 11:55 into the contest just after Macon's first power play had expired. Though it won't show up on the score sheet, that goal was scored because of Macon's power play. From the neutral zone, it's Hayden Holton, who appeared to be hooked on his way through, but it's turned over. Jarrett Cupp has cleared it all the way down. On net from the defensive zone, and it's Parker Gahagen who will guide it over to Kenton Helgeson. The Evansville alternate captain gives it to his right. Braden Helms has it. Leads the team in both shots on goal and penalty minutes this season. And it's been backhanded off the end wall. The Mayhem have returned to full strength. Devine's out of the box after serving that 2-minute roughing minor. Second back-to-back in the period. 40 seconds remain. Right circle shot. Entma the save. Loose in the blue crease. Everyone's searching for it. A goal was just saved, it looked like, by Caesar, who's knocked down. Play continues. The referee keeps his arm down. There's a loose stick that flies its way into the far corner. A fight breaks out. Ryan Devine, 2 roughing minors and a fight. Why not? He's going to wrap up this period with a little Donnybrook against Hayden Holton. They both get a good grapple on one another. Ryan Devine tries to throw in a couple of rights. Holton loses his helmet but is still trying to pound away. A helmetless Holton receives a big overhand right by Ryan Devine. Left uppercuts, one after the other. He's pounding away at Hayden Holton. He's got the jackhammer going, and mercifully, the linesmen Corey Fossa and Daniel Fendius get in the way of that and have broken it up. 27 seconds yet to be played here in the first period. The Mayhem with a 2-0 advantage. Ryan Devine just riling up this crowd for good measure to close out the period, and he has got this place in an uproar. Certainly a black and blue period for number 25 in the camo jerseys tonight, folks. He came into this game with 9 penalty minutes. Guess what? He's already tied that in this game alone. Two minors and a fight against Hayden Holton. Roughing minors, I should add. So he came into this game with... Let's just say that he smelled blood coming into this game. 27 seconds remain. It'll be interesting to see if there's anything else in terms of penalties after that scrap between Holton and Devine. Now Oleg Kalaman is sitting in the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box. So Devine was given an interference minor and a fight, so he's actually already had more penalty minutes in this game than the entire rest of the season combined through 4 games coming into this tilt. So a third straight power play to the Evansville Thunderbolts, all of which have come due to Ryan Devine, but I think he has redeemed himself and gotten back into the fans' good graces. However, the Mayhem are going to have to kill off another penalty. This is their third straight that they've faced. They're 2 for 2 so far tonight. Face off in the far circle, won by The boys in the camo sweaters, and out they come with it. It's fed up the left side boards by Sumalitis. Puck ricochets its way back into the Evansville slot, scooped up by Austin Plevy, who will fly down the left wing. Defended by Sumalitis, Plevy carries all the way in behind the net. From the near side, he works it out in front. Here's a wrist shot that's blocked by Smith, and the puck has flown out of play. I think there was just too much time there taken by Seth Swenson before he released his wrist shot. Needed to get that off quicker to have a chance. By the time he released it, Larry Smith, the very sound shutdown defenseman, was able to get his stick in the shooting lane. Last season, Larry Smith led the entire team in plus-minus. He was a very dependable blue liner, excellent at blocking shots and getting the puck out of his own zone. A plus 24 rating, the Niagara University product. Teammates with Stanislav Zykov for a long time up in college. The Thunderbolts have run out of time. That last headhunter of a shot by Brandon Lubin may not count as a shot on goal. In the meantime, the Macon Centreplex is in great spirits here on Country Night, folks. The Mayhem with a 2-0 lead heading into period 2. This was the start that they wanted. Kevin Ettman probably had to make one too many excellent saves in that opening stanza. There's no doubt about that. But I don't imagine Ryan Michael is going to be too upset by what's transpired here through the first 20 minutes of play. However, lots of hockey yet to be played. The Mayhem, when scoring the first goal this season, 1-1-1. When leading after one period of play, the Mayhem are 1-0-0. So there's only been one other instance this season in which the Mayhem have led after one period of play. To break down that period for you in greater detail, folks, it started with a bang for the Mayhem. Lots of folks hadn't even found their seats yet when the Mayhem drew first blood. Sean Lynch scoring his first goal with the organization, a goal that he will remember forever. Just 16 seconds in, Larry Smith was given the assist. Caleb Cameron, who I believe should have had the secondary, was not credited with anything, so we'll see. I'm sure he'll shoot me a text after the game tonight if, in fact, he should have gotten that assist. But anyways, the Mayhem about 11 minutes later went to a power play, their first of the game and only of the game so far. And it looked like they were really moving the puck pretty well. It looked as though they scored a power play goal. Steven Pirog's first of the season, he wristed it from above the right circle. It went off the glove of Parker Gahagen and into the back of the net. However, the penalty was called against Jacob Smith. He for the trip, he was coming back onto the ice immediately when the goal went in. Is when Jacob Smith had just gotten back onto the ice. So it counted as an even strength goal. Unfortunate for the Macon power play, but fortunate for the players on the ice who all got a plus because of it. From that point on, folks, it was the Ryan Devine penalty parade. He got back-to-back roughing minors and then a fighting major in which he dropped the gloves with Hayden Holton. Also was given an interference minor. So to sum all this up, there were 11 penalty minutes called against the Mayhem in the first period. All of them against one man, Ryan Devine, who at some point during the second will return, I would imagine, to a raucous applause, because as he was leaving the ice, folks, this entire arena had his back. So he's quickly becoming a fan favorite, not only because of his gritty nature, but also because of the stick that he took to the face in the Huntsville game. Came back to the game wearing a bubble to protect his face. He had gotten surgery done about a month ago, recovered very quickly, and is already back. So he is a hockey player if ever you've seen one, and it's great to see him just doing what he does best. However, the Mayhem are going to have to continue the valiant effort that we've seen in this game for the first minute and 34 seconds of the second period, as they have to kill off the remainder of the interference minor called against Devine and the carryover time on the power play heading into period 2. 2-0 the score in favor of Macon through the first 20 minutes of play. We hope you've enjoyed the broadcast up till this point, folks, on SPHL Live and on YouTube. In the meantime, we had the chance to catch up with a very special guest before the game started. Derek Sutliff, former Mayhem sniper, played 55 games here with the Mayhem last season. His interview coming your way next on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Enjoy, folks. Okay, welcome back, folks. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor Streaming, and on YouTube. We're so glad to have you join us tonight for some Friday night hockey, and I had the privilege of being joined by a very special guest, former Mayhem sniper Derek Sutliff. Derek, first off, really appreciate your time, and thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Derek, how does it feel to be back in this building again for the first time since April?
It's definitely weird being on the other side of things, that's for sure. It's good to see some of the guys, some familiar faces. It's always good to see those guys. And to be honest, it'll be my first time playing here in this barn, not playing for Macon. So this is my first game going against them, I guess, here. So. Should be an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely it should be, and you're wearing the same number and everything, so it'll be maybe a little bit mixed allegiances, I think, from the crowd tonight, certainly for a few people in the audience. And Derek, you've been somebody who's been kind of a veteran player on this team. It's a younger team. It's on the rise, that's for sure. It's already shown a lot of improvement, I think, Evansville from last season. And I guess just talk about some of the ways you've enjoyed playing for this organization here this season.
Yeah, so far, it's been great. Obviously we have our ups and downs and whatnot, and we do have a young team, but I was presented a great opportunity here, and obviously to turn things around from last season, and I wanted to be a part of it, not only for this season, but in seasons to come. So any advice or anything that I can bring to the table for this season and the future of the program, I'm willing to do, and I'm excited for this season, in the future for the Thunderbolts. So it's good to see everybody's excited for hockey in the town, as well as the locker room. So it's great.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I remember when the trade was made originally during the summer, there was talk that you had family closer to Evansville and friends and family nearby. Have you been able to spend any more time up there with them than you were able to here in Macon?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, anytime you can play in front of family and friends, it's a good opportunity for that, and it's very grateful for that opportunity. They've been to the majority of the games, so yeah, it's definitely nice knowing you got some familiar faces in the seats.
Where is it that they're at? Because I know that you're from Las Vegas, Nevada originally.
Yeah, it's just maybe an hour and a half from there, so it's a quick little jaunt. Obviously, a bit farther than Vegas, so they can't always come, but no, it's good to have close family, some family in Chicago as well, so a little bit more of a drive, but still a bit handier for them.
Definitely, and when you guys go to Peoria, which is often, I'm sure that in Quad City, I'm sure that the folks from Chicago can probably swing by and visit you. That's probably a hop, skip, and a jump away as well. So, Derek, the next question I want to ask you is, you're going to be going up against a lot of players that obviously you've gotten to know pretty well over the years and gotten pretty close to over the years as well. Some players I imagine you consider very close friends of yours. Who are some guys in particular on Macon's roster that you're really looking forward to going up against tonight, and maybe some guys that you're not so much looking forward to going up against?
Yeah, anytime you got friends you're going to go up against, it's always good and bad, But I know Caleb Cameron, I know for quite a few years now. Jimmy Soper, one of my good friends. Pretty much, everybody from last year, I'm on pretty good terms with as of right now before the game. Larry Smith, of course, he was my roommate last year, so it's going to be fun to see him on the ice. It's always fun to see friends out there. It kind of brings that more competitiveness out of each and one of us. So it's always good for a battle.
Definitely, and you were line mates actually with a lot of those guys that you'll be facing off against tonight, and Larry Smith, of course, the face of Camo Weekend.
Yeah,
could you have thought of a better face for Camo Weekend?
No, not at all. I think that just says it all right there. Larry Smith, Big Country is what we call him. I'm sure that nickname stuck, but no, he's a great guy. I was glad to see him showing off the jersey there.
Oh yeah, he had a blast. We took him out into a sparsely populated part of Macon, and he enjoyed every second of it filming that. So that was a lot of fun, and I'm sure honestly we should have let him just pick the playlist for tonight because it's country night here at the Macon Centreplex. Last question I have for you, Derek, and then I'll let you get going. A lot of players I've spoken to who've been around this league for years. They're now here in Macon. They've told me that this was always a difficult team to play against. You played on this team. What sort of game and challenges do you expect to be on hand here tonight?
Obviously they got a lot of older players, a lot of veteran players. They've been around the league for a number of years, and a lot of games played over there. Obviously they're going to be resilient. They're going to be hard to play against no matter what. They're going to hit. They're going to bring everything every shift. So I think we just have to play our game. Keep it simple. Do the things that we know that we can do. Try not to overthink things and bring our youngness to the table. But with that, I think it's a lot of energy with us. So I think it's going to be a good game regardless. It's excited. I know everybody in our locker room is excited. I'm sure they are too. So it's going to be an exciting one, and fingers crossed it goes on our side here. Unfortunately, sorry, Macon fans, but Yeah, it'll be a fun one. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be interesting what the Mayhem have in experience on their roster. They actually lack in the coaching department, with Ryan Michael making his really official head coaching debut tonight. Also, I'm sure pretty close with Ryan Michael. An interesting narrative there. So just lots of stories to pay attention to throughout the game tonight. And Derek, it was really good seeing you again, and good luck tonight.
Good seeing you as well, and thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's Derek Sutliff, number 19, now playing for the Evansville Thunderbolts. This has been your first intermission report. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We'll be back in just a moment with you.
.9 The Creek, real music, real radio. Creekside Mornings, Tony Doolin, Charles Davis. It is Monday. It is that time, Charles. So let's go ahead and play this.
Let's go. Alex Von Coito, the voice.
Go.
From Alex Von Coito, the voice. Voice. From Alex Von Coito, the voice. 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 Voice.
Alex Von Coito, my writers.
I love that part.
Did you miss that in Mexico?
No. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
By the way, he has his own intro, Stefan. I don't know if you noticed that or not. Alex demands his own intro.
Demands.
Alex Von Coito from the Macon Mayhem. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You missed me last week?
Yeah. How was Mexico?
It was rainy.
Rainy,
The
really?
entire week. Yeah.
I asked him, would he rather take the rain or the bitter cold we had last week? Which one?
I took the rain.
Oh, really?
I took the rain. So.
Well, did Ashley help you with the Espanol?
No, not at all. After 4 years of Spanish, not help.
Well,
Not helpful.
Lo siento.
Oh, well.
No, none.
They probably could use you, Alex. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we could have used you, Alex. Let's talk about Friday night. I was not here for Friday's game, but it was the first whitey-tidy night.
Yes.
And you said it went really well.
It did, yeah. And just knowing that it was all for a great cause,
Yeah.
that made it that much better, I think the number that I was given was just over 1,200 articles of clothing.
That's awesome.
So, yes.
All benefiting Daybreak.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, the Project DePaul. And I think, we saw scarves, gloves, undies, socks, you name it. So it was great.
Very good.
To see.
Anthony was the in-game host. Did you tell him that he couldn't take his underwear off and throw them on the ice? Because I know he wanted to.
Oh, no. I didn't remind him of that, so.
Any opportunity for Anthony to go commando, and he'll take it.
He'll do it.
That's a true story, Alex.
I didn't hear any horror stories about anything with skid marks on them.
Good,
Like that.
good.
All right, well, that's
Good.
way to
Please
show
raise
out,
up for
Macon.
that.
Way to
Yeah.
go. Nice job.
Yeah.
Well, I was here for Saturday night as we took on the Birmingham Bulls. It was a good game. We ended up with, not getting the win, but a really well-played game Saturday night.
Yeah, it was. It's just, I think we just kind of got the bad end of the stick a few times on some puck bounces and just weren't getting the breaks. But, again, the team came out to play and really fought hard from start to finish. It's just a matter of time, I think, before we start getting some wins.
Let's talk about, before we get into Friday and Saturday's game, let's talk about rosters because there have been some changes. Intma's back in goalie. He was borrowed for a little while,
Yes.
but we got him back. Also, Divine is off of his injured reserve and was playing Saturday night, which was good to see.
Yep. He's wearing that bubble now to protect his face.
Okay.
Well, I tried to look.
All
I
right.
didn't want to look too close to see, what kind of damage was done. I didn't want to be that guy, but I didn't notice anything.
Yeah.
He took a stick to the face a few weeks ago.
They did a good job with the surgery. It didn't take too long either for him to recover.
That's
And,
good.
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So he's a
Renee
hockey
Hunter
player for sure.
is. How did they status? What's his status? How did they qualify that? What do they call it?
Officially, it's on team suspension,
Yeah.
but
But he wasn't suspended for anything.
right. He was homesick. He wanted to go back to it's understandable. Huge culture shock for
Yeah.
him coming
Truth,
from
yeah.
essentially the land of I guess what we call Eskimos
Yeah.
up there. So he missed his family, and Macon, Georgia is just a very different place for
From
him.
where he's from, of course.
Yeah, so he just wanted to go back home, and Leo told him, look, if you change your mind, if your opinion changes, we've got a spot here. And
So that was
Welcome to
the
come
reason
back.
of putting him on suspension.
Okay.
So
yeah,
he could
because
come back.
he didn't want to just lose him.
Yeah, of
Right,
course.
right, exactly.
Yep.
All right, well, let's talk about Friday and Saturday night. Friday night, both these games are taking on Evansville. Puck drop 7:30 on Friday for country night. And then Mossy Oak night
Yeah.
on Saturday, which will be the first post-game auction for jerseys.
That's right. Yep.
And the camo jerseys always sell well.
Yes, we're going to do an official reveal on Mayhem social media either late tonight or early tomorrow morning on what those jerseys look like. I think they're looking really sharp. We're excited to reveal them. I think they are going to go well. I'm sure they're going to sell well on Saturday night. People are going to like them.
I want to go back. You guys always do really well with the jersey auctions. So looking forward to that. But I want to go back to this text that you sent me on Sunday, last Sunday. You said, so you're not going to be at the station tomorrow, right? Anyone in particular you want me to bring? I said, I don't care about tomorrow because I'm in Mexico.
Yeah, so you show just how much he cares about when I'm here hosting the show. But that's fine.
Next Monday, I want Timofeyev.
That's right, and I delivered.
And you delivered. Good morning, sir.
I can't believe you agreed to that.
Good morning.
Stepan Timofeyev. I'm going to guess from your accent, you're not from Georgia.
No,
No.
No.
Where are you from?
I'm from St. Petersburg, Russia.
Now, I will say this. If you see Stepan out on the street, God, don't shove him. Do not shove him.
He will.
Because he will climb on you like a spider monkey.
Oh, and then it's done. You over with him.
It's been a lot of fun to watch play so far this year, man. We've really enjoyed watching you play. You're an aggressive player.
Thank you.
What?
Look, I'm just gonna tell you. I'm
gonna own that.
Like when Ashley and them were gone last week, she would send me a text about the things she wanted to say about the way you guys played, and one of the things she said was, and Timofeyev is now my new favorite expletive hockey player.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's
my
like,
wife tends to like, shall we say, pugilists.
Yeah, ones that know how to get things done.
And you know how to get things done on the ice. What is your official position on the Mayhem? What position do you play?
I'm right wing most of the time. Yeah. On the net, puck dip.
When did you start playing hockey?
I think when I was 3, close to 4. Nice.
So your stroller as a child had ice skates on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Where have you played before coming to Macon?
I played last year in Federal Hockey League in Forcers. This was a brand new team. We were struggling in the beginning. It was a few games more than here. 7-8 games on the road. And ended up in the finals.
Wow.
Yeah. Then I played in Port Huron Prowlers. I came late, and we have a winning streak 24 games in a row.
Wow.
Beat the record, and lost the final.
Oh. I'm going to ding the bell for that anyway.
I mean, yeah, the 24 in a row, you ring the bell for that.
Anyway.
The heartbreaker losing the final.
Are you enjoying your time in Macon so far?
Yeah, it's warm. It's nice.
It is warm. Yes, it is.
Look, you ain't lying about that, bro.
For the record, there's still a little bit of a get used to the climate period. For instance, Charles is wearing a T-shirt because he's used to this. This is still, we're still good with this. You're wearing a parka.
It's a good jacket, so I likes it. I likes it a lot. But
He's wearing a puffy coat.
Yeah, it's good though.
I wore a pea coat last week. It's okay.
He did.
Yeah.
It was freezing.
It was a little chilly last week. I missed that, but it was rainy in Mexico.
There's
Well,
that.
man, really, seriously, enjoyed watching you play this year. Looking forward to what you continue to do with the Mayhem. And Alex was telling me you scored the goal that started the tighty-whitey toss.
Yeah.
That's got to be exciting.
I mean,
First one.
when you
Look, I scored a goal. They throw underwear at me.
like literally, like how was that when you look up and all of these just underwear are being thrown on the ice? Like,
That was pretty cool. I didn't know about it.
see, okay.
So did you think we were going to do that every time you scored?
No, I was just.
Where are the underwear? Oh no, where's that?
Talking to your family back home, it was crazy. I scored a goal and they threw panties at me. It was amazing.
What's nuts is
Welcome to Macon, is all I'll say.
What's nuts is that he got another goal 29 seconds into the second period. So I was thinking, okay, he might get a hat trick, and then if he gets a hat trick,
What are we gonna throw now?
Hats
So
around,
we're all
guys.
out of stuff.
Yeah. We threw them all in the first goal. We got nothing
We
here.
got nothing now, man.
So I do want to ask this because there is a discrepancy. On the roster, your last name is spelled Timofeyev. On your jersey, it's Timofeev. Did the Y just not fit? Did they misspell it? What happened?
It's for
we can say I'm spy or something, but no. It's just spelling.
Stick with that one. We're going to stick with that. We're going to go with that first
just
story.
have to change it,
He's
just
a
for-
spy. Yeah. Actually, probably makes it a little easier for the fans to pronounce without that Y in there.
Just a bit, I guess.
Throw that in there. Well, Stepan, good to meet you,
Yeah,
and
man.
good luck on the rest of the season.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure you'll be back at some point for another one of these interviews.
Okay, well, welcome back, folks. We hope you enjoyed those interviews. The first one with former Mayhem sniper Derek Sutliff. The next with current Mayhem Spider Monkey, as Tony Doolin called him, Stepan Timofeyev. Stepan, of course, scoring the goal last Friday night that launched the Whitey Tighty Toss. The clothing that was thrown onto the ice, by the way, was donated by the Mayhem earlier this week to Daybreak Project DePaul, to the less fortunate here in Macon. Over 1,200 articles of cold weather clothing donated. We're so humbled to be a part of that. In the meantime, this game is back underway, folks. The Mayhem in the midst of a penalty kill, 80 seconds of which remain on it, as Kevin Etma sticks the puck back into the corner, and it's been collected and flung down past Lubin all the way down back into Evansville territory. And Parker Gahagen, out near the borders of the trapezoid, just barely eluded the danger from Sumalitas. And now in the breakout, it's Brandon Lubin for Evansville. He will hammer it wide of the net. Bounces off the backboards. Ben Campbell skitters it around for Larry Smith, who has cleared it with ease, going all the way down the 200-foot length of the ice. With it behind his own net now is Parker Gahagen, who will leave it for Brandon Lubin. Lubin's pass reaches the intended target, Brandon Helms, who has to circle back with it. Helms dishes it up the right side. Sean Lynch on the back check will get to the puck first. Took a funny hop off the half wall on the far side. Could be a fortuitous break for the Thunderbolts as Derek Sutliff receives the return pass, far corner. Dangles his way behind the net, protecting the puck and sending it to the line. It's given D from Helgeson. Long drive, save, rebound, reaches Lynch from the circle. He has cleared it. Sean Lynch has not missed a beat on the Mayhem penalty kill since the coaching change to Ryan Michael behind the bench. Under Leo Thomas, Sean Lynch played in a similar capacity as a penalty killing specialist. Here's a one-time blast from the slot, denied by Kevin Etma, out on top of his crease. That blast coming from Taylor Macon. That was the last opportunity on Evansville's power play. They have dropped to 0 for 3 on the night. The Mayhem penalty kill, which coming into this game was ranked last in the SPHL, has gotten off to a good start tonight. All three of Macon's PKs have been due to Ryan Devine. The first two for roughing, the next for interference. But he and Hayden Holton will spend the next 5 or so minutes in their respective penalty boxes for the fight that took place in the last minute of period 1. Face-off first, far circle, Macon zone. And a quick turnaround bid from the slot by D'Amico Hanoun gets blocked. The Mayhem out to center and beyond that as a centering pass is outside of the reach of Pirog. Jeered aside by the goaltender Gahagen. The Mayhem resetting now in neutral territory. Larry Smith has it. He will feed it over. And the pass finds Pirog at center ice. He gives it to his left. And the centering attempt there from Sumalitas was broken up. Never reached Pirog, and the Thunderbolts have just dumped it back in below the Macon goal line. Larry Smith is back to get it. Perez in his own zone. Lofts it off the glass. Pirog will let it land as he settles it. Enters the Evansville zone. He will put it in front. Whacked on net and stopped by Parker Gahagen. Sean Lynch is down. He is in some pain as a toe drag by Zhykov is blocked, and Sean Lynch has not gotten back up. He went crashing into the Texas Roadhouse dasher boards, folks. And this is a scary look for Sean Lynch. He opened the scoring tonight. It's already been a huge night for him, just by virtue of scoring his first goal with the Mayhem 16 seconds into this game. And this does not look good. Caleb Cameron is down there with him, taking a look at him, along with the Mayhem trainer on site here. Those boards do not give very much, folks. He went crashing full speed into the Texas Roadhouse dasher. Sean Lynch, without his helmet, being helped onto his skates, has given a Healthy round of applause by the folks here at the Macon Centreplex on Country Night, and some stick taps all around from his teammates. He's being helped back to the Macon bench, and that is a tough kid. John Lynch, 24-year-old out of Syracuse, New York, Utica College standout, played all 4 of his NCAA seasons there. The fact that he hasn't gone back down the tunnel is a good sign, but he's certainly going to be given some medical attention on the Mayhem bench. In the meantime, the show must go on. There will be a face-off to Kevin Etma's right. Winning the draw, but it went right back to Kevin Etma, who will just hang on to it. Kuzno will take the face-off to the right of Etma, countered by Austin Plevy, Evansville's leading scorer this season, 7 on the campaign, 4 goals, also leads the team. The puck drops, left point, Helgeson puts it behind the net. It's picked off by Jarrett Cupp. He backhands a pass right on the tape for Josh Kuzno. His pass was too hot to handle for Perez, icing the call against Macon. That icing's been brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. If you haven't been to Tropical Smoothie here in Macon, folks, highly recommend it. Personally prefer either the Bahama Mama or the Sunrise Sunset. Both very good options. Swing by Tropical Smoothie today on Riverside Drive right here in Macon. Say hi to Joe or Janine Bichon, the owners. Long point shot from the left side by Helgeson gets deflected right through the 5-hole of Kevin Etma, and his shutout bid has come to an end. Celebrating as though he scored Austin Plevy, so I believe that goal will go to him. The Thunderbolts won the offensive zone draw, and a quick shot from the line taken by Kenton Helgeson, the alternate captain, was redirected, and it went right through the 5-hole of Kevin Etma, who has finally been beaten. He was far busier than Parker Gahagen in period 1, and the statistics would certainly suggest that eventually the Thunderbolts would score, and that's what they have done. The Mayhem have dumped the puck in below the Evansville goal line. The Bolts back to within 1 now, and plenty of life, plenty of time to go here in period 2. Wrist shot, score! Josh Keplinger from the inside of the far circle just had the puck find his stick, and he ripped it past Parker Gahagen. Just like that, has responded within seconds. And the Mayhem are back in front by a pair. Right off the draw, it's Stanislav Zhaikov driving, misfired with his shot, rattles its way back to the far point. The centering pass is poked off the stick by Marcus Ortiz, back out into the neutral zone. Recovered now by Larry Smith, who feeds it up the left side. Ben Campbell being given the assist as a wrist shot from Ortiz. Looked like it hit Gahagen in the mask. Loose puck bounces back inside of the trapezoid. A huge goal by the Mayhem and a deflating one to give up for the Evansville Thunderbolts, who had just drawn to within 1. Seconds later, the Mayhem with an answer. Josh Keplinger scoring his first goal on the season in Game 7 of the campaign for him. Puck's been floated into the right corner. Oleg Kalaman is back to get it. He spins it along the end wall. Ben Campbell was not below the goal line, but he scurries over to retrieve possession. Sends it back in behind the net. Plevy will work it up the half wall. Danny Caesar overskated the puck. Plevy's got it. The lone Evansville goal scorer tonight. Sharp angle bid by Swenson is denied by Etma. Plevy centers it. Here's Taylor Macon. His shot gets blocked. Long point shot is kicked aside by Etma. Second opportunity, backhand shot from the slot. Goes wide of the net. Svensson was in close, but he missed the net. And now it's played by Braden Helms, who turns it towards the goal. Blocked. A maze of camo sweaters standing in front of that shot. Pirog racing down a loose puck. He's got 3 Evansville players behind him. He spins away from one, but loses the puck in the process. Now Plevy is pressured by Caesar, who puts it in front. Perez in too tight to pull the trigger. Ultimately hacked it off the side of the net. And the puck's been worked up to the outer hash marks right circle. Cup with a shot. That skitters off the backboard's glass and out of play. 15-15 to go in the first period. 3-1 the score. I'm not sure why that buzzer sounded. This should not be a media timeout. We still have 15 seconds left before that buzzer was supposed to sound. So perhaps they'll let them play on, perhaps not. Ryan Devine's been let out of the Beyond Taboo 2 penalty box to a thunderous roar from the Macon Centreplex crowd. Devine becoming quickly a fan favorite here in Macon. He's only dressed for 6 games, or I beg your pardon, for 4 games for the Mayhem. He missed quite a bit of time due to the surgery after taking that high stick to the face in Game 2 of the season. Since he's been back, the impact he's made is undeniable. 15-15 again, yet to be played here in period 1. Both teams scoring in this period. Josh Keplinger getting his first goal of the season to answer Austin Plevy's 5th on the year. Offensive zone draw to the left side of Parker Gahagan. Long point shot from the line is denied. It ricocheted off a Macon stick, and Gahagan made the save in the butterfly. Doing a little math here. Those goals were scored 18 seconds apart. Plevy's redirect on that face-off win, point shot by Helgeson, tipped through the 5-hole of Entma by Austin Plevy. 18 seconds later, Josh Keplinger sniped his first goal of the season. The puck's been cleared off the glass out into neutral territory, past the stick of Zhykov and recovered by the Mayhem. Backhanded out to center ice. Zhykov can't enter the Macon zone onside. Kuzno will drop it back, and Cup's got it on his stick now. Jarrett Cup shovels a pass in the direction of Kuzno. Over the line, he skates it left circle with a toe drag and a shot, and a chest save is made in goal by Gahagan. Now it's delivered in below the goal line. Timofeyev puts it in front, and the backhand shot never quite came to fruition for Perez. A 5-man scrap transpires near corner. Perez gets back on it, but concedes possession back to Helgeson. Good stick handling in a phone booth done by Timofeyev, who spins it wide of the net. It's been a ricochet off the backboards, and now Cameron's got it. Caleb Cameron leaves it. Larry Smith redelivers it in below the goal line. It's swung now from Hayden Holton to Kenton Helgeson. Helgeson with the lone Evansville assist this evening. Penalty's going to be called, I believe, against the Thunderbolts. Holton was in the middle of that 4-player scrum, and it looks like the call is a slash against the Thunderbolts defenseman. Forward, I beg your pardon. Holton is going to skate to the box for the second time tonight. He was just in there to start this period due to the carryover time from the fight at the end of period 1 with Ryan Devine, in which the Mayhem blue liner landed lots of left uppercuts. The Mayhem power play 0 for 1 tonight, but their first goal of the game that was scored, second goal, I beg your pardon, by Stephen Pirog, was at the very end of a power play. So, really, it was because of the power play that they scored, even though on paper the power play reads 0 for 1. This time the Mayhem have an opportunity to get an actual power play goal that counts. Coming into this game, the Macon power play clicking at just 7.3%, 9th best in the league. The Thunderbolts have won the defensive zone draw and have cleared it out to center. Goes off the skates of Keplinger, who concedes possession at the neutral zone to Plevy, whose shot is denied by Entma. Plevy goes crashing into the far corner of boards. In the meantime, Danny Caesar, the ex-Knoxville Ice Bear, will pop one up the far side and get the return pass quickly from Josh Kuzno. Caesar enters the zone, weaves wide, right side, sends it in behind the net. Keplinger's got it there as he is pushed and shoved into the corner boards. Keplinger stays on it, swings it. Kalaman gives it point to point. Kuzno above the left circle, slaps it right circle. Caesar, high slot Kalaman. Back to Caesar above the right circle again. He delays and fires, blocked. It slides right over to Keplinger, who collects it and puts it behind the net, past the stick of Kuzno. 1:14 to go on this Wild Wing Cafe power play as the Bolts have just cleared it well over the head of Danny Caesar, who's going to skate back to get it in his own zone. Caesar with a spinorama, half spinorama, will deliver it up to his longtime teammate and roommate Marcus Ortiz. Swivels in serpentine-like fashion and across the Evansville blue line. skates it into the left corner and shovels it around the end wall. Manning the right point, the Russian Stepan Timofeyev, who slides it back in the direction from which he got it. Perez coughs it up far half wall. It's been cleared off the stick. It looked like of Steven Pirog, no high stick. Play resumes. Jarrett Cup with a diagonal pass finds Stepan Timofeyev, who will send it into the opposite corner, into the Evansville zone. Brandon Lubin goes crashing into the corner occupied by Pirog. Wins possession, has just cleared it all the way down, back into Macon territory with 25 to go on their power play, their second of the game. Time enough for one last rush on this Mayhem man advantage. Jarrett Cup drops it back. Danny Perez misfired on his pass up to Pirog, but Timofeyev will feed Pirog right side. Pirog swings in behind the net with his head up, looks for an option, finds one in Cup, left point, back to Pirog, back to Cup, now to Perez, who hammers a one-timer, and a blocker save is made by Gahagan. The puck's been cleared past Perez. Derek Sutliff's got a quick developing 2-on-1, skates it down left side, shoots, glove saved by Entma. Derek Sutliff trying to haunt his old teammates and disappoint the crowd that used to cheer him on here at the Macon Centreplex. Last season, he scored 21 goals for the Mayhem in 55 games. He was second on the team in goals at the end of the season, second only to Jake Trask. The Mayhem winning the defensive zone draw. It's been hoisted out towards Caleb Cameron. Cameron in across the blue line. Lynch is out there with him. A great sight to see after that dangerous collision in which he went into the end wall at full speed. Lynch skating under his own power, now takes it back into his own zone. Ryan Devine slides it D-to-D. Larry Smith. His pass didn't connect with Cameron, but no icing will be called here. Play resumes as Kyle Thacker's got it in his own zone. He hoists it out into the neutral zone, and Ryan Devine with a nice read forces the issue. Thacker's got it again. The ex-Fayetteville marksman slides it right up the middle of the ice where it's redirected into Macon territory by Stanislav Zhykov, who is flattened by Ryan Devine. Who else? Now it's played by Matthew Barnaby. Centers it for Zhykov, whose shot was blocked and missed the net, and Zhykov was tripped by Devine, who's going right back to the box. And I'm not sure I agree with that one. It looked like he just sort of lost balance, but a tripping call will be made. This is the fourth time tonight in which Ryan Devine is going to skate to the penalty box, and the fifth penalty for him. 2 minutes for roughing called twice in the first period. An interference minor called at the end of the first period, along with the fight, the 5 for fighting, which carried over into this period, and now a 2-minute minor for tripping with 11:01 to play in period 2. Trying to do some quick math here in my head. I think it's safe to say that Ryan Devine has spent half of this game in the penalty box. Mayhem will go back to the penalty kill for the fourth time tonight. They are 3 for 3. Both teams have been perfect on the PK thus far. Helms, left circle, wrist shot stopped by Entma. A swipe at the stick or at the puck from Larry Smith fails to clear it, however, as Kenton Helgeson held it from the right point. It's worked up into the high slot. Helgeson's got it there at the blue line. He will give it off to his right. Brandon Helms has it back to Helgeson. He will feed it to Helms, who blasts it wide from the left circle as the puck slides its way back out into neutral territory. Helgeson finds a man open on the left side, and Taylor Macon, who whiffed on the pass, but he recovers. Left circle, Macon, toe drag, shoots, stopped by Entma. Ben Campbell was getting down into shot blocking position, getting ready to block the shot coming from Taylor Macon, and Macon displaying great patience, just let Ben Campbell go down to try to block the shot and eventually slid out of position. Smart play by Macon, but Kevin Entma was able to best him. This Mayhem penalty kill is brought to you by J&J's Heating and Air Conditioning. It's the fourth time they've been shorthanded tonight. They need a big night on the PK, folks. Their last game, Birmingham scored on 2 out of 4 opportunities. Macon coming into this game, the only team in the SPHL clicking below 80%. Brandon Lubin to Austin Plevy, who redirects it into Macon territory. Jarrett Cup going after it. And And a pass up to the line by Lubin. He failed to hold the line, has some difficulty with it. Backhand pass nearly sprung Caleb Cameron on a shorthanded breakaway, but it was picked off by Lubin, who recovered nicely after that mishap. However, Kuzno has just cleared it all the way down. 44 seconds remain on this Evansville power play. Lubin slides it up to Connor Sanvito. He enters the zone. Plevy, left side. Austin Plevy centers it, redirected wide of the goal by Stanislav Zhaikov. Up to the corner wall. It's been worked along the boards back to Smith at the left point. He shovels it across the ice. Kenton Helgeson takes it into the far corner. He whiffs on the pass. It's recovered by Smith. Can't clear it. Smith is surrounded by Thunderbolts at the moment. He's trying to kill some more time. He succeeds in that, but the Bolts are back on it as a sharp angle shot denied by Entma. Second shot, one-timer denied by Entma on the drive from the left circle by Jacob Smith. And Kevin Entma's dominance in goal continues. The Mayhem, in the meantime, have improved to 4 for 4 on the night on the PK. Kevin Entma having an outstanding game in net for the Mayhem tonight. As of right now, Evansville has outshot the Mayhem by a large margin, 25-15 thus far. Kevin Entma, 24 of 25 in net. Spectacular play from the Macon goaltender. Shots on goal this season, folks, have actually been a positive for the Mayhem so far through 10 games. They have outshot their opponent in 7 out of 10 games so far this season. They have not won a game in which they have been outshot. Played Peoria in back-to-back weekends. They outshot them all 4 nights. Last weekend was the first full 2-game series in which they were outshot in both games. Penalty kill has looked strong tonight. In general, special teams have been pretty good. And the Mayhem will go to a defensive zone face-off and will have to continue to hold the Thunderbolts at bay. Jarrett Cupp tried to send it behind his own net, didn't work out, and another penalty is going to be called. Stephen Pirog not happy with this decision. It's going to be a trip called against the Mayhem on a 5th consecutive, not consecutive, but a 5th Evansville power play. The Macon captain now skating to the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box. Will have a seat. Pirog, a very good face-off man. Somebody who the Mayhem will certainly miss on this PK. Sean Lynch is about to have a really busy couple of minutes, folks. We're past the halfway point of regulation. 8:54 to go in the second period. 3-1 your score in favor of Macon, but the Thunderbolts threatening. They've got their 5th power play to work with here, and have already scored once this period. Gahagen's got it now behind his own net. He will leave it, and taking over is Kenton Helgeson. Helgeson with the breakout from his own zone, delivers it to his right. It's been flung in wide of the net by Tanner Butler, ricochets off the near corner. I beg your pardon, that was Matthew Barnaby, and the puck's just been cleared all the way down back into Evansville territory, and with it on his stick now is goaltender Parker Gahagen. The ex-San Jose Barracuda leaves it off, and Helgeson delivers it up the left wing side. Sutliff gets rid of it, and Taylor Macon gets it into Macon territory. Mayhem have just cleared it. Out of his net, with it on his stick again, Parker Gahagen leaves it for Kenton Helgeson. Helgeson slides it to Matthew Barnaby. Long-time NHLer for a father. Also named Matthew Barnaby, as a point-blank opportunity for Austin Plevy. Did not work out. Mayhem not out of the woods yet, as a slap pass to Barnaby from the left side goes off the side of the net. Barnaby delays, slides it across, and it's played by Austin Plevy. Far point, swings it to Smith. Jacob Smith to the goal line, Barnaby up top. Diving poke check made by Caesar, and a diving clearing effort succeeds for Macon's number 22. The Mayhem change on the fly. Jacob Smith has it behind his own net. Drop it off and allow Plevy to scoop it up. Similar breakout to what we see on a lot of Macon power plays. Plevy works his way over the red line and dumps it around the end wall clockwise. Oleg Kalaman feeds it up to Cousineau. The Mayhem could get a 2-on-1 shorthanded rush, but hustling back is Smith. Here comes Lynch on the backhand, shovels a shot on goal. A couple of saves have been made by Gahagan, and Sean Lynch's attempts at a second goal were snuffed out by Gahagan. Good burst of speed by Smith, who really got back in time to back check at least a little bit and impede the efforts of Sean Lynch. We've seen a huge difference in the way that Sean Lynch has been utilized, folks, in his first game under the new leadership. His impact on this game has really paid dividends for the Mayhem. They lead 3-1 with time winding down in Evansville's 5th power play of the game. Brandon Helms flying in across the blue line, goes wide and carries behind the net. Virtually a full 360 in the offensive zone, loses the puck, and it's a clear-cut breakaway from center ice in for Cousineau. Down the slot, shoots, scores! Josh Cousineau, second of the year. The Mayhem lead 4-1. You admire the initiative by Braden Helms, who flew into the Macon zone with a full head of steam, carried it all the way around the end wall and out the other side, did essentially a full 360 in the offensive zone. The danger with that, of course, is what happens if you turn the puck over. Braden Helms, a defenseman, a young defenseman, Adrian college grad, a longtime teammate of Kevin Etma's, who he's facing tonight. Just maybe got a little bit too aggressive in that approach. Coughed up the puck at the blue line, and there was nobody back. Josh Cousineau scoring his second goal of the season. The longtime SPHL veteran making the young defenseman pay. Steven Pirog on the assist, his team leading 10th of the year. Is forcing the issue, directing traffic from behind the Evansville net. They have broken the puck out, and Plevy down the left side has it ricochet off his stick down and behind the Macon net. Jarrett Cupp left it off. Ben Campbell, side of the net shot, steered aside by Yentma and delivered back into the near corner by Jarrett Cupp. Puck's been cleared off the glass down into Evansville territory. Back to get it now is Seth Swenson. I beg your pardon, that is Tanner Butler for Evansville, who slaps the puck out into the neutral zone. I don't think it touched Stanislav Zhykov. Entma will play it nonetheless and feed it around the boards. Jarrett Cupp advances it to Ortiz. Turned over, San Vito's got it, turns and fires, blocked. Backhand shot, skitters through the goal mouth and wide of the net. Helgeson puts it down into the adjacent corner. Hayden Holton is well covered. 5:10 to go here in period 2. The Mayhem have a 4-1 lead. The puck's been hoisted out into the neutral zone. 2-on-1 develops. Keplinger on his off wing, waits, floats it over. Good pass. Ortiz on his backhand. Couldn't really pull the trigger, but he drops it off to the late man, whose one-timer is blocked. Now it ricochets back to Smith. His shot is punched away. And could be a breakaway here for Evansville. Down the slot comes Zhykov. He shoots. He missed high. Was there a penalty there? No, there was not. We play on. Breakaway for the Russian did not work out, and the Mayhem maintain their 4-1 lead. Zhykov rolls the puck up the wall. Pirog intercepted it. He will pass it to himself off the far boards. Chases it down along the half wall and leaves it in behind the Evansville net. Slap shot from Sumulidis is waffle boarded by Gahagan. And now it's Sumulidis dropping it back into the far corner. Shoveled back around the end wall by D'Amico Hanoun. And it's going to be Sutliff, the ex-Mayhem forward, who will exit his own zone. He passes it up to D'Amico Hanoun, who redirects it into Macon territory. Hanoun is shoved by Ryan Devine. It's been worked around the boards onto the near side. Caesar has chipped it out. And there was something that happened behind the play by Hanoun on Ryan Devine. Folks here wanting a penalty, but the arm stays down for Nolan Bloyer. Josh Cousineau delivers a big hit into the end wall on Kyle Thacker, but the Bolts have cleared it back out into neutral territory. Ryan Devine backhands it off the glass in front of the penalty boxes. Derek Sutliff takes it back and floats it into the far corner. Jarrett Cup up to Danny Caesar. Caesar backhands a pass to his right. Here comes Kuzno, scored the most recent goal. He will fire upon entering the zone, blocked by Brandon Lubin. Below the goal line, it bounces. Lubin's clearing attempt reaches the intended target, Taylor Macon. And now here comes Austin Plevy. Tries to split through 3 Mayhem defenders. He now circles his way back up into the high slot. Pulls the trigger, blocked in front, gets it right back and fires. Entma was down and out of position, but Plevy missed the net. The puck's been cleared through everybody all the way down. Will this be an icing? Yes, it will. That icing call has been brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. The Mayhem catching a break as that icing call came with 3:04 yet to be played in the second period, which means we're going to head to our final media timeout of period 2. It also means we get a chance to catch a breather, which have been few and far between here in this game. A 4-1 thriller here at the Macon Centreplex. A goal-scoring explosion of sorts, one that was long awaited for the Mayhem. They have not scored more than 4 goals once this season. Their largest margin of victory coming back on Saturday, October 26th against the Birmingham Bulls, in which they defeated the visiting Bulls by a 4-1 score. That is currently the score here, with 3:04 yet to be played in the second. Macon's goals tonight have come off the sticks of Sean Lynch, Stephen Pirog, Josh Keplinger, and Josh Cousineau. Evansville's lone strike coming on a redirect from Austin Plevy following an offensive zone faceoff, much like this one. 3:04 yet to be played in the second period. Macon has a 4-1 advantage. Felix Cronwall from the left point had his shot go off a leg and out of play. Cronwall, of course, the nephew of NHL great Nicholas Cronwall, longtime defenseman for the Detroit Red Wings, stands at 6'6", 235 pounds. And sports Nicholas Cronwall's number on the back of his jersey in honor of the Red Wings legend. Drops, the Mayhem win the draw. Stephen Pirog getting the better of his counterpart, but Cronwall holds the zone and fires it wide of the blocker side post of Kevin Entma. The Mayhem have gotten this one out, however. Caesar down his off wing, defended by Cronwall, delays, drops it off. Pirog, toe drag, works his way to the net, gets knocked down into the goaltender, but play is allowed to continue. Pirog gets back onto his skates. In the meantime, the Mayhem have intercepted the puck in the neutral zone. Sumalita spins it to Caesar, far side. Danny Caesar's pass is interrupted. The Mayhem stay on it, however. Felix Cronwall from his backhand works it back out into neutral territory, and Sanvito will race it down the right side. Connor Sanvito carries in behind the goal line, coughs up possession, and is shoved hard into the corner boards by Caesar, and a stickless Caesar will kick it up to Josh Cousineau, who feathers one through. Sumalitis redirects it from short of the red line, but no icing here. Puck is played now by Tanner Butler, the Evansville defenseman. Sutliff will drop it on an offside play, and the whistle blows stopping play. 2:01 to go in the second. 4-1 Macon your score. The Mayhem have been pretty heavily outshot in this game, as a matter of fact, folks. It's strange the way that things have gone this season when the Mayhem have really outshot their opponents by a pretty good margin. That has not necessarily had a positive correlation with winning games, which usually is the case. And this season, it's sort of been an anomaly of sorts. Right now, they're being outshot, it looks like 27-21, according to the most recent information. I'm sure once we get the next update, it will be perhaps an even larger margin than that. Danny Perez motors in across the Evansville blue line on the left side. He will drop it to Timofeyev, who will attempt a return pass, but it's broken up by Tanner Butler. The Bolts have cleared it up the right side. Matthew Barnaby's got it. Barnaby will swivel his way across the Macon blue line, loses the puck, and Kevin Entma will hold on and take a whistle stopping play. Matthew Barnaby's father played in the NHL for the Buffalo Sabres, Pittsburgh Penguins, Tampa Bay Lightning, and the New York Rangers for many years. Played in the USHL last season, did Matthew Barnaby, for the Chicago Steel and the Youngstown Phantoms. I imagine that he has at least some rapport with Mayhem equipment manager Evan Watts, who was with the USHL's Youngstown Phantoms last season. Not very often do you see players go from the USHL straight to the SP. Of course, folks, players who play in the SPHL, they void their college eligibility because they have played a pro game, as Kevin Etma will hold the puck at the side of his net and take a whistle. And virtually every player who goes through the USHL makes a Division I commitment at some point or another. Those who don't end up committing at least to a Division III program. So it's not often that you see a player like Matthew Barnaby go straight from the USHL into this league. It's very uncommon. Puck battle ensues along the far half wall. Turnaround shot by Plevy gets blocked. It looked like by the back of Campbell. Nearly a huge headache for Kevin Etma, but he was able to deal with it in short order. Now Jared Cupp in his own slot, takes it behind his own net, changes course, feeds it to his right. Caleb Cameron angles it off the boards. Good bank pass to Sean Lynch on his off wing, enters the zone. Lynch delivers it in behind the net. Marcus Ortiz, the team's leading goal scorer with 6 on the year. Out of gas, it was turned over in the corner on the near side. Kalaman delivers a hit. He's taken himself out of position, but the ever-dependable Larry Smith was back in his stead. Now Marcus Ortiz and across the blue line. Into the Evansville slot where it was scooped up by Braden Helms. 33 seconds to go in the second period. Skated down the right wing side by Hayden Holton, who fires. Routine stick save by Etma. Loose puck whacked up the far wall by Larry Smith and played in front of the benches by Brandon Lubin. He will work one off the stick of Stanislav Zhykov. Big hit on Helgeson on the near side, right in front of the All-State Bonding penalty box. It squeaks by Helgeson's stick, back out to center. Lubin will twist one in front of the Macon bench. Time is winding down. 7 seconds to go. Zhykov in across the blue line, drops it. Helgeson left circle, skates in, carries behind the net, looks for an option. He puts it in front, and Kevin Etma was down and jeered it aside with his stick. That's wrap things up for the second period. The Mayhem, through 40 minutes, have a healthy 4-1 advantage. That is the largest advantage that they've had all season heading in to period 3. 4-1 the score in favor of Macon through the first 2/3 of this one. We hope you've enjoyed the broadcast so far, folks, on SPHL Live and on YouTube. Alex Von Coyle, the voice of your Macon Mayhem. So glad to have you with us tonight on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Well, the players and fans alike have been in good spirits tonight. It's country night. The country-themed music really getting, I think, people's spirits up even more. It's a culture that loves its country music. We'll just say that. And being a pretty big country fan myself, can't say that I mind it too much. Right now, the shots on goal on the scoreboard, at least, are showing as 33-22 in favor of Evansville. So that's potentially an area of concern for the Mayhem, as Kevin Etma has had to be extremely sharp in this game. The good news is that he has been. He's stopped all but one shot. Kevin Etma has been dynamite in between the pipes tonight for the Mayhem. A potential other area of concern, folks, the trips to the box. 4 of 5 of Macon's penalties have been called against Ryan Devine. 2 for roughing, 1 for tripping, 1 for interference. So he's really struggled staying out of the box. He also fought. But I'd say his 4 penalties were more than made up for, in the fans' opinions at least, by winning that fight with a couple of great uppercuts he delivered on Hayden Holton at the end of the first period. So he's certainly got the fans' approval. Let's break down that second period for you in greater detail here while we've got a second. Austin Plevy opened the scoring, 2:46 into period 2. Plevy striking on a redirected point shot coming off the stick of Kenton Helgeson. And Plevy was just in the right spot to get his stick on the shot on the way through and tip it through the 5-hole of Kevin Etma. The Mayhem, however, did have a response. It took less than 20 seconds. 18 seconds after Plevy's goal, Josh Keplinger said, "We will not let this lead slip away from us." And playing in his first game in weeks, Keplinger made good on his opportunity. Ben Campbell set him up, poking the puck right into his wheelhouse. Campbell, by the way, getting his first assist with the Mayhem. Keplinger ripping one from above the far circle, the left circle in the Evansville zone. Cleanly beat Parker Gahagen, I beg your pardon. Looked like inside the right post to give Macon a 3-1 advantage. And then 10 minutes later, Josh Cousineau found himself on an uncontested breakaway from center ice in, shortly following a Macon penalty kill. Pirog was given the lone assist on that goal from Cousineau. Pirog and Kuzno were parked in the high slot when Evansville defenseman Braden Helms maybe got a little bit too excitable on that zone entry. And I'm not going to say he abandoned his defensive responsibilities, but he certainly had offense on his mind when he entered the zone there. He carried it all the way in behind the Macon net and wheeled his way to the near half wall and eventually lost the puck in the slot. Pirog and Kuzno were both there, and Kuzno just took off. He had nobody within probably 10, 15 feet of him, and he cleanly beat Parker Gahagan through the 5-hole to extend Macon's lead to 3. 4-1 the score through 2 periods of play here at the Macon Centreplex. Again, folks, thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We sincerely hope that you've enjoyed the broadcast up till now. We've still got 20 minutes to go, so stay tuned on SPHL Live and on YouTube. For those of you who were not able to make it out to line change this past Tuesday night, it was a different structure, obviously, with the news breaking about Coach Thomas, who we will certainly miss on and off the ice here in Macon. We did, however, still have a show. We wanted to give folks an opportunity to speak and to voice their opinions on the situation and to ask any questions they may have about the future and whatnot. So I'll play about 10 minutes or so of the archive from our last line change episode. The Mayhem general manager, Blair Floyd, was the lone guest. He did an excellent job of keeping his composure through the emotional day and making himself available for the fans, of course, who certainly had some questions they would have liked answered. So I'll play that archive file back for you momentarily, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. In the meantime, keep it right here. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor Streaming and on YouTube.
Guys, we're going to get started. As always, thanks for being here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's been a really tough day for all of us. A lot of folks in the organization have been pretty emotional today. But with that being said, we want to make sure that we give you guys the opportunity to voice any concerns or questions that you might have. So without further ado, I'm just going to open the floor up for discussion. We don't have players or the coach here, obviously, today, so we're going to skip right over that section. And you guys can just begin firing away. As always, we're going to have the microphone passed around. We want to make sure that everybody can hear the questions being asked. And for folks who weren't able to make it out to the show tonight, we want to be able to make sure that they can go back and listen to it going forward. So,
get started. I have a bad cold. If he starts cracking or start coughing, just give me a second. Who's up first? Y'all want me to kind of open up a statement?
go ahead, yeah.
As I'm sure everybody in the room knows, we made a coaching change today. Probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It was very emotional for me to talk to Leo. Very grateful for what Leo did for the organization. We just looked at a couple of factors, and after having a lengthy discussion with Bob over the weekend, we just felt that was ultimately best for the team and the organization to move into a new direction. I know a lot of people were close to Leo. Leo was here every night at every line change. He was a great ambassador in the community. Couldn't have asked for a better guy. It's just unfortunate that looking at the ice and things that happened, we just felt we needed to make a change. So, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that anybody has. There you go, Don.
Yeah, appreciate it, Zach.
Break the ice, Don.
Hard question to ask, but with the coaching change, is that indicative of a style of play or a lack of performance on the ice? I mean, what could we expect to change, or what is the expected change we're looking for?
It's kind of a three-part question, I guess. Best way I can answer it, the basis of the decision. This isn't indicative of Leo. I think Leo was a great coach. I just think that some things obviously weren't clicking. in certain areas. Last year we got off to a 17-3-2 start. We finished the season 27, 24, and 5. We've started the season 2-6-2. Just felt like something had to change. There's plenty of talent in that locker room, but something's not clicking. And that was one of the things that we felt like needed to change. As far as style of play, I think with Ryan, you're not going to see a drastic style change per se. It's going to be conversations we had today. We're going to start at the bottom, focus on the details, right? We're going to pass and work on our power play, work on our shooting, work on the little things, try to fix those, and then expand into maybe some system changes and stuff. But we don't want to, come in and overhaul the system completely and it just throw a wrench into everything. If that makes sense. And if that answers your question. I was here. You had a lot of questions for me.
Yeah. Say about Spectra.
That's right. I understand that. It's hard. Wasn't something that was done easily, and it wasn't a knee-jerk reaction to anything. We took a long, hard look at a lot of things. And, like I said, it was really hard. I mean, I got really emotional. Leo got emotional. Like it was extremely hard, and something that just needed to be done.
Do you happen to notice the camaraderie wasn't there with the players?
I wouldn't say the camaraderie wasn't there. We've got a close-knit team. It just, for lack of a better term, I know it's not the answer that everybody wants to hear, just things were not clicking. Like our power play, we're 9th in the league in power play. We're 10th in the league in penalty kill. Special teams win games. You look at Peoria, they're functioning at a high level, and look at where they're at. It's a direct correlation. So, I mean, last year we struggled on penalty kill, power play, things of that nature. So, anybody got questions? I won't bite, I promise. You can ask me about anything. It doesn't even have to be about Leo. You can ask me about anything. Yes, ma'am.
Kathy's got a question. Bill, do you have them? Yeah. Please ask it again, please.
The interview from yesterday. How do I get to hear that with Timo?
The Creek segment. Yeah. Is Tony here?
I think he left.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't want to throw the guy under the bus, but I did request that he send me an archive of that file, and he hasn't done it yet. So the ball's in his court. I'm going to send him a reminder, but I'll be sure that we post it as soon as we have it. Yeah, absolutely. For those of you wondering, he did do a great job again. Yeah. So not just on the line change, but on the Creek show as well. You guys heard it live? You did? Okay. Right. People were wondering why there's a Y in his name and sometimes it's not a Y.
I've got government documents that.
Tony's theory is that he's a Russian spy.
On that.
Center did a commercial on that with Semyon Varlamov and Alex Ovechkin a few years ago. Maybe we can do something like that. Anyone else have a question, guys? Be a comment as well.
First jersey auction.
So the first jersey auction is going to be this Saturday. We're going to be wearing our camo jersey. Yeah, I know the awareness is pretty low right now. We've hit a snag with getting our. We've filmed the promotion that we're going to do for it, a video. We really like it, but we're waiting on the approval from Mossy Oak. dragging their feet or anything like that. It's just it's hard with the time frame that we were given from the time we got the jersey to the time that we had to go film the commercial and edit it. So as soon as we get the green light, we'll reveal them on Mayhem social media. But they will be auctioned, as always, following the game on Saturday. Charles, I believe. Get some feedback.
What did you
there.
do?
It must be the crowd mic there. So I believe Charles is going to be there, right? Yeah. So
Charles will be back.
Yeah. So Charles Olson, he's going to be running the auction after the game on Saturday. He's going to be in the lobby of the Centreplex as always.
Zach, you got a hard hitting question for me, man? No.
Asking into the microphone,
Yeah.
please. Sorry about that.
The coach now and the team doesn't do any better, and they're not meshing. What then?
So Ryan's been named the interim head coach. Over the next few weeks, we're going to evaluate some things. We are taking coaching resumes. Started that process. We didn't want to get too far down the wormhole with things sliding, and then we're 3 weeks down the road and we're starting this process. So kind of where we're at right now is Ryan's going to give it a go, and we'll evaluate where we are in a few weeks and go from there.
Kind of a short leash.
I wouldn't say a short leash. I think things are there. I'll be honest with you. I think Ryan's an excellent coach. He is very cerebral in his approach. I think y'all are going to be pleasantly surprised when y'all see him this weekend. And some of the minor changes, just in practice, we were talking about this afternoon, things we're going to be doing starting tomorrow. I wouldn't necessarily say a short leash. I think he's going to be fine, and I think he's going to do well. We're going to see how things play out and go from there. Ryan is a little nervous, a little excited for the opportunity. So, you can ask. Let me tell you something. I was going to say, I'm the most shy person in the world. You wouldn't know it. I hate being the center of attention. So, you're not going to get me in trouble.
I guess since I got the mic, since Ryan is going to take the head coach position as of right now, would we be pulling in like another player to stand in as the assistant coach, or would it just be like he's solo right now?
Right now, no. What we're going to do is we're going to lean on P-Rog, our captain, a little bit to work with the forwards. Ryan's still going to work with the D, change some things up. Hard. I'm trying to think of how to put stuff because I don't want to. I think the world of Leo and all that. I don't want to talk bad about him, but anyway, it just some things needed to change. And Ryan is an excellent guy off the ice. He very much respects the chain of command, meaning he's not going to go up. He'll make a suggestion, but he's not going to say, "Hey, no, this is how we're going to do it." He has some ideas of some things he wanted to change already. It was just the timing, and so now he's got that leadway. So he'll still be working with the D, getting them in order, still working with the forwards. Practice is going to be a little bit longer, but it's going to. I think it's going to be good. You got to follow up. You get her the mic.
All right, with the new coach taking over, does that mean the lines are going to change? Instead of it being the same players playing the same lines, and we have players sitting out that could be on the lines and benefiting us, are they going to be on the ice, or are they going to sit out still? That's probably a coaching question, but I'm sorry.
No, I can answer it. You're going to see line changes. You're going to see personnel changes. Conversation I had with the guys today, just being blunt, tired of seeing tired of seeing a lackluster effort on practice, on shifts in the games, and things away. Like, you're going to give 110% or you're not going to be here. It's as simple as that. Full season. Like, we're here to win a championship. This isn't a game to us. We're here to make this a profitable business and win championships. That's our end goal. You don't want to participate. You want to take time off. You want to be lazy. You think you're better than the next guy beside you, then we can find you a new home, and I'll find somebody that wants to be here.
Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. We hope you enjoyed that segment from our last episode of Line Change. Blair Floyd, the guest on this week's show on Tuesday night. We're going to continue having the show as always. We're going to try to have Ryan Michael have his air debut on the show next week, but there might be a potential snag with the trip down to Pensacola. The team travels down to Pensacola on Thanksgiving Eve on Wednesday, so next Wednesday night the team plays at the hangar for the first time this season. So we're going to see about possibly getting our first show with Coach Michael underway the day before, and obviously if that can't work, we may have to cancel that week, unfortunately, but it's a little bit premature at the moment. Just stay tuned, as always, on Mayhem social media for the most up-to-date news. In the meantime, period 3 just about underway. 4-1 the score in favor of Macon. They have built a substantial lead over the first 40 minutes of this game. This is the largest lead they've had going into a third period this season. The puck drops. The Mayhem have won the draw, and Larry Smith has it in his own zone. He will reverse it to Sean Lynch from the left wall. He will advance it to Marcus Ortiz. The return is to Lynch, who enters the zone. Cameron, left circle, skates in and fires. His shot gets blocked and flies out of play. That flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. We've not had the opportunity to update anyone tuned in on the out-of-town scoreboard update brought to you by Hampton Inn Suites, so we'll do that real quick while we've got a second. Huntsville defeating Roanoke, edging them 2-1, the unofficial final up in Roanoke tonight. The Knoxville Ice Bears with a 2-0 lead over Pensacola. Quad City and Peoria deadlocked in a 2-2 stalemate, and the Bulls have a 2-0 lead over Fayetteville. Long wrist shot from the right side misses the net, and the puck bounced on Cameron there, so no secondary opportunity. In the meantime, the puck's in Larry Smith's midsection. He put it down to the ice, been whacked out of the air. Would have been a high stick by Marcus Ortiz. If Tanner Butler plays it, the whistle will not blow. That's what he's decided to do, and play continues. Now it's Kenton Helgeson. Back behind his own net, he goes with it for Butler. Rolling puck slides its way dangerously down the Macon slot, and a failed clearing attempt by Kalaman nearly comes back to bite the Mayhem, but Stephen Pirog was there to clear the puck out of danger. Caesar stick handling right at the skates of Jarrett Cupp in front of the Macon bench. Now Kevin Etma will leave it behind his own net for Cupp as a minute's expired in the third period. The Mayhem holding onto their 4-1 advantage. Oleg Kalaman twists it past his own blue line. It's intercepted by Seth Swenson, who has just airmailed it back into the Macon netminder's glove. Now Cupp's got it again. Jarrett Cupp sends it to his right. Diagonal pass that lands on the tape of Pirog. He enters the zone from the right circle. Snaps a shot that's gloved and held by Parker Gahagan. Coming into this period, Parker had stopped 18 of the 22 shots he had faced. Kevin Etma, who's actually been the busier of the two goaltenders, has allowed just one goal in this game. His best game of his Mayhem career came against the Birmingham Bulls back on October 26th, in which he stopped 36 of the 37 shots that he faced. Check that, 35 of 36. He's already almost there, folks, early in period 3. Josh Cousineau forces the issue. Sized up by Hayden Holton, couldn't get around him, and the Bolts will exit their own zone. Holton down the left side, put it onto the stick of Zhykov, who misfired from the neutral zone, missed the net by a few feet, and here come the Mayhem in transition. Stepan Timofeyev delaying, floating a pass into the slot, one-handed through. Sean Lynch, or rather Caleb Cameron, is hooked and brought down, and that's going to be a penalty called against Evansville. A hooking penalty called against Connor Sanvito, and the Mayhem will go back to the power play. This will be just their third trip to the man advantage tonight. They have not scored on it, but they did score immediately after their first one. The goal scored by Pirog is first of the season, back late in the first period, virtually coinciding with Jacob Smith getting back onto the ice. So though it wasn't a power play goal on paper, it was essentially a power play goal. The Mayhem hoping to go 1 for 3 officially with a strike on the man advantage here. This Mayhem power play is brought to you by Wild Wings Cafe. Oleg Koloman from the left point. Got a couple of Thunderbolts jostling for possession right next to him. And a pass from Caesar is broken up by Helgeson. Good diving back check attempt. Helgeson enters the zone, however, and sends a pass across the ice. Sutliff was out in front of it, and will just put it safely behind the Macon net, and the Mayhem reorganize from there. Keplinger leaving it for Kalaman. Kalaman returns it. Keplinger's got it. Neutral zone. Diagonal pass on the tape. Caesar gives it back to him. He fires, and a chest save is made by Parker Gahagen. He will take a whistle. Keplinger with a chip on his shoulder coming into this game. He was scratched both nights, Friday and Saturday last week against Knoxville and Birmingham. Comes into this game and scores a goal almost immediately after Evansville's strike. His first goal of the season, 18 seconds after Evansville's lone tally tonight. That one coming back early in the second period. Steven Pirog will take this offensive zone faceoff, cleanly wins it. Perez, point-to-point pass to Jarrett Cupp. Now in the deep slot, will return it. Perez, outer hash marks, left circle. Gets the return pass from the goal line by Timofeyev. Jarrett Cupp at the blue line, gives it to Pirog, right circle. He spins, Cupp again. Fires a wrist shot through traffic, redirected and stopped by Gahagen. The puck's been cleared off a Macon stick. It floats into neutral territory, and it's tracked down by Cupp in his own zone. 3 minutes have expired to start period 3. The Mayhem with half of their power play remaining as Jarrett Cupp begins the breakout from his own end. He shifts and slides it into the middle of the ice. Timofeyev guides it to Perez on his left. Danny Perez enters the Evansville zone. Stathis punches it into the left corner. He will wire one around. Timofeyev is there, far corner. Rather Pirog. He will slide it to the line. Jarrett Cupp, point-to-point pass to Perez. He'll put it into the Timofeyev vicinity. Chiseled away from him. And pinching Cupp kept the puck alive for a few more seconds, but it's just been cleared all the way down. 22 to go on this Macon power play. The Mayhem with a 4-1 lead and 16:15 remaining in the third period here as Larry Smith begins the exit from his own zone. He will slide it backwards to Caleb Cameron, or rather Ben Campbell. He will advance it. Ortiz slips it through. Cousineau tries a centering pass. In too tight was Sean Lynch. Couldn't find a handle on the puck. That would have been a power play goal. Lynch from the side of the net attempted a shot. Chest save by Parker Gahagen, and the Evansville Thunderbolts have returned to full strength, albeit with some difficulty towards the end. The Mayhem dropping to 0 for 3 on the man advantage, which does not do this power play justice the way it's played tonight. Taylor Macon has sent it into Macon territory as Ben Campbell has it on his stick now. Sean Lynch redirects the pass from Campbell to the Evansville zone. Derek Sutliff lunges out, tries to get a stick on it. Instead, it finds Lynch in behind the net. Sean Lynch from the near corner will advance it back up to Keplinger, and it's chiseled free off his stick. Barnaby goes down. Here's Sutliff stepping in, firing, pad save, rebound, loose, they score. Cavanetma slid over from his right to his left to make the save on Sutliff. The rebound was there on the doorstep on top of the blue paint and jammed home into a wide open net by Jacob Smith. He has brought the Evansville squad back to within striking distance. They're now within 2 with plenty of time to go here in period 3. That goal came on a delayed penalty. The Mayhem were going to be shorthanded, but the goal was scored on the delayed penalty, so the Mayhem will stay at full strength. However, they have conceded a second Evansville goal. 4-2 is now the score in favor of the Mayhem. That's Jacob Smith with his second goal of the season. Zone face-off win by the Bolts, but Larry Smith has it on his stick quickly and will just work it out to the Evansville blue line. Here's Braden Helms, who accelerates in across the Macon line and pulls the trigger. Blocked, goes off the top of the backboard glass and eventually out of play. We're a quarter of the way through the third. 4-2 the score in favor of the Mayhem. And the Bolts have just gotten back to within a pair with a goal scored by Jacob Smith. Derek Sutliff haunting some of his old teammates with the primary assist on that goal. Great seeing Sutliff again, catching up with him, and had a pretty good conversation with him in the hallway near the Evansville locker room shortly before the game started. He told me this was his first time playing here, not playing on the Mayhem, which is surprising to me considering he played for the Mississippi River Kings the season before, the season that they folded, the 17-18 campaign. He's an SPHL veteran on a team stacked with a lot of young talent, folks. The Evansville Thunderbolts with a lot of rookies on their squad. And Jeff Best, certainly a coach well known for his recruiting abilities. He's gotten a lot of good young talent amassed here in Evansville. 14:58 to play in the third period. The Mayhem holding a 4-2 advantage with a quarter of this third period having expired thus far. Stathis Sumilidis from the near half wall. Drop it to Ben Campbell, and he will just bounce one off the glass into the Evansville zone. Pursuing it is Danny Caesar. Fending him off nicely, Braden Helms, who is able to work it up into the neutral zone there for Taylor Macon. Puck's been turned over as the Mayhem look to counterattack quickly, but Plevy on the back check is able to break up that opportunity. Sumilidis, far half wall, twists and turns, loses the puck, and the Bolts are out of the zone. Plevy to his right, Taylor Macon, and across the Mayhem blue line. Macon is checked, gets it right back from the circle. His pass back to the line goes off the stick of Butler and all the way down into the Evansville zone. In the meantime, the Mayhem get a fresh 5 out there as the Thunderbolts will just chip it in wide of Entma's net. Seth Swenson doing the honors. He goes to the Thunderbolts bench now as Entma leaves it off in behind his own goal line. Jarrett Cupp having some difficulty with it as he is plastered into the end wall. Loose puck caroms off the far half boards back to the blue line for a slap shot by Helgeson that ricochets wide of the net. Cousineau has just backhanded one out to the red line, but no further than that. It's been worked right back in. Entma will allow Jarrett Cupp to get it. Cupp is pinned up to the end wall near the sign station dashboard. Now Danny Perez has possession. He will hoist one up in the air. It's gloved down in the neutral zone by Tanner Butler. Helgeson back in his own zone. It's pursued by Timofeyev. Helgeson finds a nice breakout pass for Connor Sanvito, who will enter the zone. He goes to the front of the net, but the return pass from Sutliff is intercepted. Sutliff holds the line, puts it into the circle. Here's a shot that missed the right post, coming from Matthew Barnaby. And now it's given from Sanvito back to the line, bobbled by Cronwall. He recovers and sends it back in behind the net. Sanvito knocks it down out of midair, looks to center for Sutliff, whose pass was blocked by Koloman. Now it's Larry Smith from the near corner. Puck slides back into the high slot. Excellent keep by Sutliff. The fans think that was offside. A wrist shot nearly bounces in. Kevin Entma turns and gloves it. It was sliding towards, it looked like the near post. Not sure if it was going wide. It was close, but Kevin Entma was able to locate it regardless and make the stop. Fans here in section 208 were booing, folks. They thought that keep by Sutliff was in fact not a keep by Sutliff. They thought it had crossed the blue line. Tough to tell. It looked very close, certainly, and I'd have to look at it again. Clean face-off win in the defensive zone by Pirog, and it's been rimmed around to the near side. Sumilidis and Caesar both in pursuit of the puck on the forecheck. Cronwall is slammed hard into the end wall by Caesar. Sumilidis wins the puck back. Sumilidis from the far corner puts it through to Pirog, who is high-sticked, goes down in the circle on the far side and is slow to get back up. Will skate his way back towards the Macon bench. Caesar. Campbell slips away from one, then floats it right into the glove of Parker Gahagan, who will hang on to it. Huge body check delivered by Danny Caesar a few seconds ago into the end wall on Felix Cronwall, whose uncle delivered a lot of hits like that himself back in his prime. Cronwall known for his big hitting abilities and just a kind of do-it-all defenseman for the Detroit Red Wings. Sort of took over as the top defenseman up at Joe Louis Arena after Nick Lidstrom retired, alias the Perfect Human. The Thunderbolts are out of their own zone. It's been kicked deep into Macon territory. Ben Campbell fighting for possession on the far corner near the X-Dashers. Long point shot gets blocked, and it's been worked back up the slot out into the neutral zone. A penalty is going to be called against the Thunderbolts. Josh Kuzno down on a knee, a high sticking infraction forthcoming against the visitors. Another trip to the box for Hayden Holton, his third trip to the All-State bonding penalty box tonight. He and Ryan Devine have made homes in there. Ryan Devine can make a home just about anywhere. He is a licensed realtor in the state of Georgia. Fun fact for you. The Mayhem going to their power play for the fourth time tonight. They have not converted yet. Both teams perfect on the PK so far, despite the high-scoring nature of this game. Danny Caesar, I beg your pardon, Stepan Timofeyev in the left circle. Now from the left corner, goal line extended. We'll slide it back up to the point on the adjacent side. Perez to Cup to Pirog, right side. Steven Pirog slides it back to Cup. He will shovel a pass to the goal line on the far side. Centering pass, Pirog rips it over the net as it skitters its way back up to the point. Danny Perez with a good keep. Will feed it down the half wall, near side. Timofeyev pumps it into the left corner. Pirog wins possession. As Timofeyev tries to backhand it to the line, he succeeds. Perez across to Cup, one-timer. Ricochets on goal slowly, but Gahagan's got it out on top of the crease. 11:13 to go in the third period. 4-2 Macon is your score. Evansville's goals tonight coming from Austin Plevy and Jacob Smith. Macon's from Cousineau, Pirog, Lynch, and Keplinger. The Mayhem with 1:23 remaining on their power play, with the infraction called on Hayden Holton for high sticking. Josh Cousineau moments ago. Bolts have cleared it down immediately following a defensive zone faceoff win. This Mayhem power play is brought to you by Wild Wings Cafe as Etma slides it to Oleg Kalaman. The big Russian defenseman leaves it for Danny Caesar, who will backhand a pass behind his own net for Josh Keplinger. Fellow Michigan native Caesar from the red line dumps it into the opposite corner on the near side of the ice. Cousineau poking and prying at the loose puck between Keplinger's skates. It's been rattled back to the line. Kalaman slides it over, right circle. Crisp pass over to Caesar, who had it go off his stick hotly. We'll just drop it back to Kalaman again. Here's a wrist shot, blocked, right back. Side of the net, jam attempt is stopped by Gahagan, and the puck's been cleared. Out of his net to get it is Kevin Etma, who will leave it now for Oleg Kalaman. Kalaman twists it to Stepan Timofeyev, who will return it to his countryman at the Macon slot. 22 seconds to go. Kalaman had some difficulty with it, then he hauls down Smith, and a penalty is called. Good shorthanded work by Jacob Smith, who stole it from Kalaman and then drew a penalty against him. And thus, Macon's fourth power play comes to an end. Kalaman to the sin bin. And we go to an 18-second long 4-on-4, after which the Thunderbolts will get a 1 minute and 42-second long power play. The linesman drops the puck. Clean face-off win by Sean Lynch. He was stymied, couldn't cross his own blue line. He's surrounded right now, but he will drop it behind his own goal line now, and Campbell feeds it over to Smith. Smith back to Campbell, and he's got tons of time. Ben Campbell, hot pass right up the middle, bounces off the backboards. Cousineau scoops it up and swerves his way to the far side of the ice. The Mayhem will try to play a little keep away here, but the pass from Cousineau goes off the stick of Campbell, and picked up by Zhykov, who will wheel his way to the far side of the Macon zone. Dropped off. Here's a shot stopped by Etma on the attempt from Seth Swenson. 9:31 to go in the third period. 4-2 Macon is your score. 1:23 to go on this penalty kill for the Mayhem. This Mayhem penalty kill is brought to you by J&J's Heating and Air. Again, the Mayhem with a 4-2 advantage. Oleg Kalaman right now serving a 2-minute interference minor. Another look around the SPHL, folks. Like we said earlier, Huntsville defeated the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs in overtime. So the Dogs' woes continue here in the early going this season. They remain in last place, a 1 7-2 record now after dropping a 2-1 decision at the hands of the Huntsville Havoc. The Knoxville Ice Bears up 2-0 over the Pensacola Ice Flyers at the moment, up in Knoxville, Tennessee. The Quad City Storm, the Peoria Rivermen also in a pretty tight game. That game is tied right now. The Storm up in Quad City, in Moline, Illinois, a 2-2 tie with the Peoria Rivermen late in period 2. And the Birmingham Bulls hold a 2-1 advantage over the Fayetteville Marksmen out in central Alabama tonight. That wraps up your out-of-town scoreboard update, brought to you by Hampton Inn and Suites. And we'll go to work on a defensive zone face-off with 1:23 remaining on their Penalty kill. Oleg Kalaman is in the sin bin for the next 1:23. Lots of Mayhem players have made trips there tonight. Keep. Lubin's drive is handled by Kevin Etma, conceding no rebound. Coming into this game, the Mayhem were the second least disciplined team in the SPHL. The Thunderbolts were the second most disciplined team in the league. In terms of penalty minutes per game, the Mayhem averaged 15.7. The Thunderbolts averaged 8.7. Puck's been cleared by Caesar all the way down into the Evansville zone. Back to get it is Jacob Smith. He eludes a hit from Caesar. Here comes Smith with a full head of steam. Scored the last Evansville goal. He will fire it in from center. And it's punched away by Kevin Etma out of play. That flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. Jacob Smith, the most recent Evansville goal scorer, is a rookie out of Pickering, Ontario, dressed in all 10 games for Jeff Best this season. Lots of Canadians on this Evansville squad. More than half of the team. Sumalitis on his backhand shovels it off the glass. Lands near Pirog. He's well covered in the neutral zone. Lots of white sweaters around him. It's been dropped back to Braden Helms, who will return it for Kenton Helgeson. He slips by, passes it to himself, goes into the right corner. Helgeson, 2012 NHL draft pick by the Anaheim Ducks. San Vito for Sutliff, right circle. San Vito again, right goal line. His pass broken up. And Stathis Sumalitis will just hoist one all the way down the ice. 18 seconds. It's left off by Gahagen. Scooped up by Kenton Helgeson. He makes the breakout play up to his left for his D partner, Braden Helms. Will slam on the brakes, outer hash marks, far circle. Delivers the pass in behind the Macon net. Into the near corner it slides. Larry Smith spears one up the wing. It's been cleared further. Danny Perez in a foot race against Helms, who's pretty tired at the end of a power play. The Mayhem, in the meantime, have improved to 6 for 6. An excellent night on the PK for the Mayhem. But here comes Zhykov down the left side. He's watched by Smith. He turns the corner and sends it through the goal mouth. Caesar has just bounced one out to Perez. Perez will attempt to settle that puck down, but Cronwall, with his 6'6" reach, was able to poke it away. Felix Cronwall slaps it up into neutral territory. Campbell's pass is outside of the reach of Perez. Back with it on his stick now, Brandon Lubin. Sends it D to Cronwall. Cronwall gains the red line from his backhand, sends it off a Macon stick and below the Mayhem goal line. Ben Campbell shovels it along to the far side. Cameron is knocked down to the ice. He will angle it off the backboards. And Sumalitis will advance it up to Danny Caesar, who attempts to crisscross into the offensive zone. He would have been offside, so he didn't do it. In the meantime, here comes Evansville. Austin Plevy is caught from behind. Ben Campbell's pass went off the stick of Evansville's Braden Helms, who gets back on it. Helms came into this game leading the Thunderbolts in shots on goal as a defenseman. He's an extremely offensive-minded blue liner. Caesar will slip one in front. It's broken up by Kyle Thacker. And the loose puck is collected and fed up to Jacob Smith for Evansville. It's pass outside of the reach of Matthew Barnaby. Pirog now will spin it sort of blindly. Nobody in particular, just to get it out of the zone. 6:25 to go in the third period. Time beginning to wind down for Evansville. They've got a 2-goal deficit to make up. Far half wall. It's backhanded down the boards by Connor Sanvito, and the Mayhem are able to quickly get it out. Backpedaling into his own zone to play it, Tanner Butler. in front of the Evansville bench. It looks like it might have gone into one of the benches, so that puck's been blown out of play. That flying puck brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair with 6:10 to go in the third period. The Mayhem up by a score of 4-2. Just a reminder, folks, we are having a game tomorrow, same time, same place, to wrap up Mossy Oak weekend. Tomorrow is officially the Mossy Oak night, in which these jerseys will be sold at a live auction following tomorrow night's game. We hope to see you out here at the Macon Centreplex. Tanner Butler, his pass broken up at center ice in front of the benches. They scrap away for it, and Sumalitis will enter the Evansville zone on the right side. Twisting with it, Kenton Helgeson in his own end. In some trouble from Sumalitis, but he gets the return safely from his defensive partner, Tanner Butler. Kenton Helgeson slaps it right up the middle and across the blue line of his own zone. He gets another chance at it. He'll angle it off the near sideboards and sends it right to D'Amico Hanoun, who misfires. Left point shot also missed the net. The puck rolls right to Danny Perez, who tries to float one ahead. Nearly a breakaway for Timofeyev, just outside of his reach. Timofeyev delivers a hit into the corner board on the far side. In the meantime, the loose puck is scooped up by Evansville's Connor Sanvito. We'll send it up to Hayden Hutton. Played aside by Parker Gahagen, and now it's Brandon Lubin in front of his own net. Will advance it up through neutral territory. Plevy goes to the front of the net. Puck's played now by Swenson above the right circle. His shot, and a save is made by Entma. Right now, Kenton Helgeson's having difficulty skating back to the Evansville bench, folks. Not sure if that's an equipment issue or a body issue. Hopefully it's the former of the two. The Thunderbolts have just iced the puck. That icing call has been brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. In the meantime, we're going to have our final media timeout of regulation time. 4:44, the amount of time remaining for Evansville to mount a comeback. Kenton Helgeson was skating off the ice slowly, and sometimes, folks, I've seen it a few times when a player's skate pops off, the metal part of the skate pops off, and they're trying to skate on plastic, and essentially is impossible. Anyone who's attempted to do it, even NHL superstars look like Bambi out there. There's just nothing they can do. So I'm hoping it was something like that happened to Kenton Helgeson, and it wasn't a lower body issue. Right now he's being taken care of on the Evansville bench. 5 points through 7 games played for Kenton Helgeson. Of course, not including tonight, in which he tallied an assist on Evansville's first goal, scored by Austin Plevy back in the first period. Helgeson, an ex-Calgary Hitmen captain in the WHL, drafted by Anaheim in the 2012 NHL entry draft in the 7th round. The Mayhem winning the offensive zone face-off, and a slot shot by Keplinger on the backhand is denied by Parker Gahagen. 4:40 yet to play in the third. 4-2 Macon. Cameron wins the offensive zone draw. Keplinger reverses it behind the net. Cameron with a bit of deception carries it back up the half wall onto the near side of the ice. Felix Cronwall's got it. With his head up, he makes the breakout pass, angling it off the sideboards in the neutral zone. Marcus Ortiz up to Keplinger. Swiping of the stick on the way through to prevent Keplinger from entering the zone was Taylor Macon. The Bolts back in control. Pirog intercepts the pass in front of the Evansville bench. Brandon Lubin has it. He will slide it to Cronwall, whose outlet finds Swenson. A rink-wide diagonal pass. The speedy Derek Sutliff races in and fires. It gets blocked by the stick of his former teammate, Jarrett Cupp. I beg your pardon, that was Ben Campbell who blocked the shot from Sutliff. That flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. 3:59 to go in the third. 4-2. The score in favor of Macon. Sutliff stays on the ice, along with Matthew Barnaby and Jacob Smith, the line that scored the only goal of this period so far. Pirog cleanly winning the defensive zone faceoff. Long point shot ricochets off the stick of Sutliff and wide of the goal. And now it's Ben Campbell trying to make a breakout pass. Taken away by Sutliff. Here's Barnaby skating in. He fires off the outside of the right post, and they jam away at the side of the goal. The puck floats over the crossbar, and it's been cleared. just barely past the blue line. Close call there. There's a loose stick down by the Warrior dasher board in the far corner of the Macon zone. Derek Sutliff caught on an offside, and the whistle blows. 3:28 to go in the third period. The Mayhem still with a 4-2 lead. Close call moments ago. Derek Sutliff and Matthew Barnaby each looked like hitting the right side of the net. Kevin Edma able to keep his team within a pair. I beg your pardon, ahead by a pair. Neutral zone face-off to take place in front of the Macon bench on the far side of the ice. Another clean face-off win. This time it was by Cousineau. The Mayhem have done well in the face-off circle this evening. Back to get it below his own goal line is Tanner Butler. Will bank it off the far half wall, and Zhaikov twists it out to Jarrett Cupp, who will deliver it right back in. Lubin's got it. Lubin, alternate captain, 4 games in the ECHL with the Wheeling Nailers to start the season. American International College graduate. Matthew Barnaby floats one into the glove of Entma, who will just take a whistle and a stoppage in play. Some pushes and shoves take place at the perimeter of the blue paint between Connor Sanvito and Larry Smith. Parker Gahagan sort of wondering when his time will come to exit the Evansville crease. Typically when there's a 2-goal deficit, the goaltender is pulled a lot earlier for obvious reasons. Team trailing by a pair of goals, much more desperate than a team trailing by just one. Look for Gahagan to be pulled probably in the next minute, I would think, as Marcus Ortiz will shovel a pass wide of the net into the left corner. He tries to sell a penalty. It doesn't look like one's coming. Fans here voicing their displeasure. Play goes on. And the whistle blows stopping play. Offside is the call made against the Thunderbolts. Certainly possible that Marcus Ortiz was in fact high-sticked there. He, without a doubt, did all he could to sell it. Either way, if you're the referee in that situation, if you're Nolan Bloyer, you've got to decide between calling it one way for either side, for high sticking or for embellishing, or both, and Bloyer decided to do none of the above. Puck's been flown in from center ice and handled by Parker Gahagan. 2:28 remain in the third period. The Mayhem still with a 4-2 advantage. The only goal in this period coming off the stick of Jacob Smith at the 4:48 mark. Kenton Helgeson and Matthew Barnaby were given assists, but I believe Derek Sutliff should have been given the primary. Pirog will take the offensive zone draw to the left side of Parker Gahagan. The puck drops, went right off of Sumalides' stick, and the linesman signaling to redo the face-off. The linesman who didn't drop the puck. So they're going to try this a third time. 27, the amount of time left. The Mayhem going to an offensive zone face-off with a 2-goal lead, with time winding down on this one. Trying to snap a 6-game losing skid, which is the longest regulation losing skid in franchise history. But they are just 2 minutes and 15 seconds away from snapping tonight, but Sutliff fires. Goes over the crossbar, ends up bouncing out of play. Folks, the importance of this game this early into the season cannot be understated, or overstated, apologies. But just 10 games having gone by this season, this is only the 11th game. Still, obviously, tons of hockey yet to be played, but the importance of winning this game, just, it's essential. Here's a chance for Smith. Left circle, had his shot blocked. He gets it right back and carries inside of the Macon trapezoid. The puck floats up in the air and whacked out of midair by Smith. 5 or 6 players go fighting for it. Smith's shot goes off the leg of Sumalides. Limps a little bit, but he's okay. Barnaby is stick checked. Smith follows up from the goal line, far side, taps it back to the point. Thacker a drive, blocked by Caesar. Lands on his derriere, gets back up and skates to the bench. Gets a few stick taps and pats on the helmet after his efforts. Ortiz hacks it out of the zone. Cameron's in pursuit of it down the far side. He catches up to it and below the goal line. He's pinned up to the boards now by Jacob Smith. Caleb Cameron just trying to kill some time down there, surrounded by 4 white sweaters, and he's taking valuable time off the clock. 1:18. I'm very surprised to still see Parker Gahagan in net. Here's Marcus Ortiz entering in on his off wing, drops it back to the line for a blast that misfires, goes off the backboard's glass, and the Thunderbolts have just cleared it, but time is beginning to wind down. 1 minute remains. San Vito down the right side, goes wide and shoots. Entma the save, didn't see where it landed. Bounced well out of harm's way, and it's skated back out to the neutral zone by Marcus Ortiz, who fires it in. It's punched away by Gahagan. 45 seconds. Puck's been fired all the way down. Larry Smith begins galloping to the corner. He gets rid of it, takes a hit from San Vito. It's wrapped further by Campbell. Can't get it past Zhykov, far corner. He will drop it back up the half wall. Hayden Holton's shot stopped by Entma, looked behind him. Nobody knows where this puck is. Entma's in the Snow Angel. They continue hacking and whacking, and finally the whistle blows and a fight breaks out immediately after the whistle. But the linesmen have quickly come to the aid of both parties. And I think they're telling both sides to be smart about this one. Fighting in the last 5 minutes typically does not bode well for players, as there's almost always some sort of discipline handed down by the SPHL. So you got to tap your sticks to the linesmen Corey Fossa and Daniel Fendias for immediately breaking that up and preventing a full-on fight from Larry Smith and Connor San Vito, because had that escalated to a full fight, it might have meant a suspension. Will, however, be a penalty called against Smith. Now Gahagan has gone to the bench. The Mayhem have 26 seconds to fight off. Plenty of time with a 6-on-4 they're facing. Jeff Best loads up with all of his top guns in a last-minute desperation attempt to tie this game back up. The Mayhem penalty kill, perfect tonight. 6 for 6. The best night on the PK they've had all season. Jeff Best, Jeff Best has just called his timeout. Be drawing up a play to attempt to get 2 quick goals and tie this game back up. While this situation may seem insurmountable, folks, as a Chicago Blackhawks fan, I'd like to remind you of what happened in 2013. 2 goals within 17 seconds in the closing minutes against the Boston Bruins in Game 6. Anything is possible. And the Mayhem cannot lose focus here. These are a very crucial 26 seconds. A 26-second span which separates the Mayhem from ending their longest regulation losing skid in franchise history. The puck drops in the far circle. Steven Pirog wraps his man up on the faceoff immediately, but it's recovered by Seth Swenson. From the blue line, his shot skitters just wide of the blue paint. Good stick lift on the near side by Oleg Kalaman, but he can't clear it. Jarrett Cupp is slammed into the end wall. 8 seconds to go. Sutliff prying away, trying to get the puck free. He gets it behind the net, looks for somewhere to go with it. He passes it back to the top of the circle, past Braden Helms. This one is over, and for the first time in nearly a month, the Mayhem have gotten back into the win column. They've won their first game in their last 7, and the Mayhem, with their 3rd victory on the season, in the head coaching debut of 27-year-old bench boss Ryan Michael. Congratulations to Coach Michael on going 1-0-0 in the head coaching department. Just a tremendous effort from the Mayhem tonight here on Country Night. Certainly a feel-good 2 points that they have put up this evening. They were really, for a good long while, folks, just down and out. I will say this, as somebody from the inside, this team needed this, and they salute this excellent crowd that's been on hand supporting this team start to finish from some recent downs that the team has experienced. You have got to really tap your sticks to the Mayhem fan base. They have not given up on this team, as they proved tonight, coming out in droves to support a team that had not won a game since October 26th. Tonight, they bore witness to the first victory the team has seen in nearly a month, and the first victory in the first game of Ryan Michael as the team's head coach. There were 2 occasions last season where he filled in as an interim head coach when Coach Leo Thomas was suspended. But that does not count, as he was still technically the assistant coach at the time. So he's 1-0-0. And Ryan Michael gets a shout out from the public address announcer Charles Olson, as tonight, I couldn't hear if he said 3rd star or 1st star. He said 3rd star, if I'm not mistaken. So Ryan Michael getting you don't hear that very often, folks, the coach getting star of the game, but certainly well deserved for the Mayhem interim head coach. He didn't come out onto the ice. That's typical Ryan Michael. He just went right back down the tunnel. Not really one for fame and applause. Kevin Etma, also very deserving of tonight's 2nd star of the game. He tosses the puck into the bottom of section 210, or 110 rather, and sends a souvenir puck into the audience for a lucky young fan down there. And the 1st star of tonight's game, captain, my captain, Stephen Pirog, scored his 1st goal of the season. Also tallied an assist as well. And Stephen Pirog needed that one. He had really been snake-bitten in the goal-scoring department. He came into this game 2nd in the league in assists, but had not scored a goal yet. It was simply remarkable. Almost an identical situation to Josh Harris in Birmingham, who had 0 goals and 11 assists. Got his 1st goal against the Mayhem last Saturday. Stephen Pirog getting the monkey off his back. We'll see if the floodgates can open for him, because he's been terrific in every other area besides the goal scoring. So it was awesome to see him get his 1st goal of the season. Also a shout out to Sean Lynch, folks. He did not get recognized as one of the 3 stars of tonight's game. His cousin Ryan Michael did. Both of them, I think, deserved a star for what they did tonight. Sean Lynch scoring a goal to get this crowd riled up right from the get-go. 16 seconds into the game, scoring his 1st goal with the Mayhem. A moment that that young man will never forget. So he is on the broadcast. We'll call him our de facto 4th star of tonight's game. A much-needed 2 points tonight for the Mayhem. They improved to 3-6-2 in the standings. They have passed the Evansville Thunderbolts for 8th place in the SPHL. Huntsville won as well, so the Mayhem remain 3 points behind the Huntsville Havoc for the next spot. I'll take you around the league one last time for your final Hampton Inn & Suites out-of-town scoreboard update. Break down this game in greater detail, and then let you be on your way. Again, every team in the SPHL played tonight. Huntsville was able to hold on in overtime and win in Roanoke this evening on the road. 2-1 the final in favor of Glenn DeTulio and company. Knoxville winning 3-0 at the hands of the Pensacola Ice Flyers up in Tennessee this evening. The Quad City Storm, the Peoria Rivermen, still in a 2-2 deadlock heading into the 3rd period. And the Birmingham Bulls have built upon their lead over the Fayetteville Marksmen, a team that has started the season red hot and has still not lost a game in regulation up till this point. We'll see if Birmingham can be the first team to do it. Now, let's revisit what happened in this game. It was a busy one. There's no doubt about that. Sean Lynch, Stephen Pirog, each netting goals in the 1st period. Lynch's strike is 1st with the Mayhem, coming 16 seconds into the game. Pirog's coming at 11:55. A big one for Pirog as well, his 1st of the season. Jarrett Cup, Danny Perez on the assist. It came seconds after the... I'm going to figure out exactly how many seconds. Bear with me just for a second here. It was 3 seconds after the penalty to Jacob Smith had expired. The Mayhem scored what could have been a power play goal, but ended up just being an even strength. So ultimately the team, unfortunately, 0 for 4 on the man advantage tonight, but they were 7 for 7 on the penalty kill. So all in all, I'd say a decent night on special teams for the Mayhem, even though they didn't score on the power play. Austin Plevy brought the Bolts to within a goal, just 2:46 into the 2nd period, and at that point it seemed as though momentum would shift in Evansville's favor. They were trailing by 2. Plevy scored on a redirected point shot following an offensive zone faceoff. Kenton Helgeson let it fly from the left point, and Plevy got the Bolts on the board to snap Entma's shutout bid. So, with all that time remaining, that goal coming so early into the second, it felt as though the scales would tip in Evansville's favor. However, Josh Keplinger nipped that in the bud quickly. 18 seconds later, a snipe from the inside of the far circle of the Evansville zone. That goal would end up being the game winner, so a huge strike by Josh Keplinger, also his first of the season. 3 players on the Mayhem tonight scoring their first goal of the season in Lynch, Pirog, and Keplinger. Cousineau would add an insurance tally brought to you by Country Financial. Stephen Pirog with the assist, and Cousineau with the goal at 13-18 into the second period. Just an uncontested breakaway from the neutral zone in. Probably had 100 feet of ice separating him and the goaltender with nobody in between them, and Cousineau made no mistake. He buried it through the 5-hole of Parker Gahagen. He took advantage of a bit of a defensive lapse made by Braden Helms, and ended up scoring what would be Macon's final goal of the night. Finally, in the third period, no more goal scoring took place on Macon's side. Jacob Smith brought the Bolts to within a pair at 4:48. That was Derek Sutliff's line with Matthew Barnaby, but that would not be enough. Too little, too late. The comeback attempt from the Evansville Thunderbolts. The Mayhem held on to win by a final of 4-2 in Ryan Michaels' head coaching debut. That wraps it up for the most part from here, folks. We really are glad that you decided to join us tonight on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast on SPHL Live and on YouTube. We know you enjoyed the outcome. One more time, the Mayhem 4, the Thunderbolts with 2. These two teams will be facing one another in a rematch tomorrow night. Same place here at the Macon Centreplex, though a different time. Puck drop will be scheduled for 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow will be our official Mossy Oak night, in which these jerseys will be sold off at a live auction following tomorrow night's game at the lobby of the Macon Centreplex. Again, folks, if you'd like to bid on one of these jerseys but can't make it to the Plex to do so, just call our office, 478-803-1592. Speak with Tyler Layfield, our Director of Ticketing, Zach Smith, Director of Community Relations, myself, or Anna Marie Summers, Director of Corporate Relations. Any one of us in the Mayhem office tomorrow will be in I'll be in a little bit earlier, probably around 11 o'clock. The rest usually get in around noon. Feel free to give us a call. We'd love to help you out in any way we can to make sure that you can bid on whichever jersey you would like. So that wraps things up from here, folks. Again, thanks so much for joining us. Alex Von Coyle, the voice of your Mayhem, signing off until tomorrow night when the Mayhem wrap up this 2-game home weekend series against the Evansville Thunderbolts. Till then, so long, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your Friday night.